Boys, we'll see you at 150 or so.
Yes, really. Cool.
Boom! What is up, beautiful people? Scared you there. Welcome to How to Trade During the Midday. That is your boy, Joey Dang Options. And I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream, because YouTube be taking their sweet time. All right, we got X-Banes, we got Matthew Booth, we got the OG Darwin dancing up a storm, and it wouldn't be a day without your main boy ADL. Shout out to Adam, Patrick Riley, Cigar Attache, I love that name, Juan Padilla and Vern, Airy Pages, Hytham, Ak, Monty G, Bears versus Dang Bulls. We got Jacques, we got 1320 Wolf, we got Richard, we got Showtime, Mary, we got Moon Rocket NFTs. I like it. Junior Son, Anish, Jose, Stuart, Random, Howdy, right back at you, baby. Small Trader Nick, I do like that one. KK, 14M, and Bobby Posey, Dinkelberg. We got D-Loaf, and we got Jay. The J420, my man. There we go. Venado, Jose, Benjamin, Wiki, Ezekiel Ruperia, and why not? How about Salt Tunes? Yes, I like that. Chet GPT, Airy Pages, Julie, Dexter, KK again. Who else? Jordy VWAP. I can't read that one. Jason. We got Bobby Posey again. Stock Up DJ. One more. Two more. Jersey Boy. And the Piper. Ooh. Welcome everybody to a nice Wednesday. It's a beautiful day here in Toronto. Feeling good. You know, some of these names are kind of green on the market. We'll get to that. It looks like things are turning around now. Joseph, we've got a lesson in store, my man.
My guy. I'm just saying hi to somebody in the chat, and there we go. What's going on, everybody? We got a lesson, most definitely. We're going to touch on what we've been cooking up this morning as well, too. If we can pull up my screen real quick, excuse me, that would be fantastic. So, guys, IBIT today trading above the cam range, out of above R6, strong in the pre-market. I like those looks. So what happens here earlier in the morning? I'm like, all right, let's see if we can continue with this relative strength. We see from the pre-market that we're trading higher. I don't always love these rallies in the pre-market before the open, but you can see that we held VWAP relatively well. We get that kind of a trampoline elastic effect here in VWAP, and then we bounce through. We add, we enter the trade, add, and then you just take it all the way up through the top, and then I got out my remainder there as it came to the break even there, guys. So that is what we got cooked up on IBIT. Yeah, the multiple ads, and it's continuously strong today, so it's unfortunate that I didn't grab anything else on it. We'll pull up what I had on Tesla. Full disclosure, your boy is fully out of it, even in the LT, so I'm like, all right, I'm happy about that one. Sitting on about 10% cash right now, ready to pounce. So yeah, I'm looking forward to just kind of rotating the portfolio. This was our other trade here as well, too, guys, on Tesla. We got the moves higher, but then this was my last out. I'm like, all right, let me just get out of this trade. I don't believe in it right now, so then you can see that it continued to dump. So that was it there, guys, on IBIT and on Tesla. Those were my names of the day and the picks, so good trading. We're going to go over the top performing sectors after we go through.
Sounds good. We're going to continue with our discussion on the gap and go strategy. Specifically today, we're talking about that 2-bar gap and go. So the classic gap and go strategy typically focuses on strong price movement within a single trading day. But what if you want to identify trends with longer legs, so to speak? Enter the 2-bar gap and go strategy, a variation, of course, that leverages momentum building across 2 consecutive days. So we're talking about technically swing trading here. So this lesson dives into this approach and how to spot potential opportunities. Let's get right to work, baby. So beyond the single day. So the standard gap and go strategy thrives on gaps, I should say, occurring at the open of a trading day. While powerful, of course, it can miss trends that develop over a longer time frame, that 1 day, 2 day, 3 day, 4 day kind of time frame. So the 2-bar gap and go strategy expands the scope by focusing on a 2-day sequence. So day 1, a stock experiences, as we typically know, and we've learned the first and second lesson of this series, is it experiences a significant price gap up for the longs, for the bullish momentum, and or gap downs for that bearish momentum, accompanied, of course, by high trading volume. Then the day 2 in this strategy, the stock opens strong again or strong or weak, again, for bullish or bearishness. On day 2, continuing the trend that it initiated on day 1. And here we go. This is a perfect example. I remember Adira included this chart back in the day. And this is AstraZeneca, a long, long time ago, February 2019. It was moving on its merry way. And then we got a news catalyst overnight. As you can see, it gapped up nicely. And then it continued to move up on day 2. So there were plenty of opportunities here, day 1 and day 2. And I'll submit to you that day 2 in this particular instance was even stronger than day 1. 2 reasons. 1, it moved more in terms of price action. And number 2, it closed much nearer to the highs than it did on day 1. So that day 2 should not be discounted as like, subpar to trading day 1. So why 2 bars? So this 2-day approach offers several advantages. Advantage number 1, identifying momentum. So the gap on day 1 signals a potential trend. Underline that, potential. The strong open on day 2 kind of confirms that trend, that continuation, offering more confidence before entering your trade. Number 2, it reduces the likelihood of false breakouts. You're never going to get that to 0, but it's just about putting the statistical advantage on your side, right? So single day gaps can be fleeting. They can end and they can reverse. Waiting for a strong open on day 2 helps filter out those shorter-lived momentum names. And number 3, targeting news-driven trends. So news or earnings reports can sometimes trigger gaps. We've seen that. Anybody who's traded earnings or held a stock into earnings knows all about that. Watching for follow-through on day 2 helps identify stocks with potentially sustained momentum due to that news catalyst. And oftentimes as well, guys, when that news catalyst hits, when you're a big money hedge fund, a big money sovereign wealth fund, a pension fund, whatever, you're not hitting that buy button like willy-nilly. A lot of these bigger money institutions have buying committees. They got to meet and agree on to what to do post earnings or post news. So sometimes you see the momentum continue in multiple days after the buying committees have made their decision and then communicated that decision to their traders. So think about that from a practical perspective. So how do you put this whole strategy into practice, right? So step number 1, I'm going to identify three main points here. Step number 1, you want to scan for day 1 gaps. So use a stock screener or watch list or however you find out the kind of nature of the market to identify these stocks that gap up. Personally, I use a scanner, and I can use a very specific scanner called a gap scanner. And what it does, it just basically enumerates all the stocks that are gapping up from the previous day and then lists them from high to low or however you want to list them, low to high. You want to filter by volume, whatever you want. Use a gap scanner. So easy to get. Most platforms have them, okay? Number 2, you want to focus on that day 2 open. So the next day, which is day 2, obviously, you want to observe the opening price and the volume. You want to keep an eye on both. You're looking for a strong open that continues the trend initiated on day 1 and is accompanied, it doesn't have to have the same amount of volume, but it should be above average volume. And the way you determine above average volume is you can look on previous days to compare the volume, or you can use RVOL, relative volume. If you don't know what that is, a quick Google search will allow you to know. Step number 3, your entry and your stop loss, obviously. So once you see a strong day 2 open, consider placing an order slightly above that bullish gap or below that bearish gap on day 2. Opening price. Always, though, set a stop loss to manage your potential losses. So some just considerations to think about here. Number 1, patience is key. We're talking about a multi-day strategy, so pack your patience. Don't be so quick to jump in. This strategy requires waiting for confirmation, obviously, on day 2. Don't jump in exclusively on the price action on day 1 unless you want to trade the day 1 gap. But specifically here, we're talking about the 2-day gap and go. Number 2, false signals are an ever-present danger in trading, swing, day, or whatever. Even a strong day 2 open can reverse. There's nothing preventing it from doing so. Proper risk management with stop-loss orders are crucial. And last but not least, not for every gap. What does that mean? Not all day 1 gaps lead to sustained trends. Analyze supporting factors like the news, the veracity of the news, and technical indicators before getting in. I hope everybody opens up that store.
Multiple here, guys. Yeah, speaking of multi-day trades here, Sharif, I really like this signal here on Google. My buddy Gorev, hopefully you're listening. Check this hammer out, my guy. We're at a low. We're down 25%. So I can confirm that this is a possible bottom we're signaling here. 25% with Google from peak to trough there, guys. So a nice signature. It is not isolated, and you can still see that there's a little bit of selling pressure. But again, I like this for a bottoming signal. I think it's time for this name to turn around. So speaking of multi-day trades, but here we go, guys. We're in some TSLL. I wish I put a little more size on this trade, but we're not going to get too worked up about it. But that's okay. We'll figure something out here. We're going to take some off. Let's go. Patience is key, as Sharif was mentioning. Continuing to climb here. Sharif is selling that siren. We're going for the break of the high day. So yeah, well, hit it. We're not in the dollar club yet, so we can't hit it just yet. We don't want to we don't want to do that prematurely or anything along those lines. But yeah, guys, working out really well. This was my second entry. You can see that there was multiple fake outs. You break up here, have the inability to climb higher and crack through the high day, and then you come back now, and that's what we're gonna look. We're gonna see if we can break through this. A nice flat top here, so if we can punch through resistance, that volume on the lower time frames really starting to pick up as well here too, guys. So this will be the look on TSLL. IBIT is still ripping, so I really like that as for sure, because you know that is it's my largest holding. So trading around $48 right now, and I liked it from a daily standpoint as well too. Never mind the Camarilla pivots that I was referring to in the morning. You can see that I thought yesterday, if we sat on top of this range here, that we were going to break out and continue to the top side. But here you notice that we kind of opened up just a little bit below it, but it was a bullish candle. You gap up in the pre-market, and then now you're running into some resistance. So if we can punch through that, this thing can really start to get going. So yeah, I like Bitcoin. Yeah, I'm not going to grab any more just yet. I'm going to be really patient. But Sharif, we're moving here in Tesla. Gonna go crack that high. Yeah, we're gonna go and crack that high day here, my friend. So we'll take a little.
Sells Tesla, and then obviously he's going long Tesla.
Yeah, I mean during the day, yeah. You know what, man? I'm happy with that. Like you said, don't monitor it, don't look at it. I did have somewhat of a game plan. I'm like, give me 300, but I'm like, no. My average was slightly higher than what I thought it was. So just the fact that, and I was telling Sharif this morning, I'm like, I can't have a trade that was over 110% return go anywhere close to me going negative, right? That's just just basic management. I should have never let 110% return even go south of 50, let alone lower than that. So I got out. I'm happy that in the long term I'm on 10% cash, and in this market I'm going to be able to find some good stocks at a good price. So yeah. That's
all right.
The game plan.
We're involved in nothing. We just got stopped out. All right, MLYS. This is my first trade. We're going 0 for 1 to start the day. Here's the deal. So this one was obviously a buy program. It looks like that buy program got shut off right at 11 o'clock. Not surprised by that. That is kind of normal with these buy programs. Sometimes they get shut down before 12. Sometimes they get shut down a little bit before. So this is very directional. I'm talking about MLYS. It's a $1.1 billion company. It's only traded about 1 million shares, a little bit less than 1 million shares on the day, with about a 43.5 million share float. And let's find out what the short float is on this monster, MLYS. 8.18%. So here's the deal. I still like it. It looks like it's strong. I'm going to be setting up second time on this one at the volume weighted average price. I'd like to wait somewhere around 17.25, 17.33. I'm looking to front run the actual volume weighted average price in case there is buyer exuberance and it gets picked up a little bit above that. So that's number one. We're going 0 for 1 on it, but we're not ending the story there. Then XHLD. I was watching this one for a hot minute. It did drop below that dollar. And so it was like, okay, well, is this going to kind of lose the bid? What's the situation with this one? It's still above VWAP, but below the 10. Well below that $1.22 that it put in the high. Then I made some more observations. What's that pre-market high? If you see me trade these small cap gappers, I always like to earmark that pre-market high. Lo and behold, look where we end up holding up there on a 4-candle support level, that 95 penny area. Well, what's that 95 penny area, you're probably asking? Well, that's a pre-market high, the one that we printed at 615 before we big boy broke it at that 10:30 time slot. So I do like XHLD. I'd like it a lot better if it got away from that dollar. I hate having to deal with stocks that are north and south of a dollar hanging out around that level. The reason is it's a different trade north and south of a dollar. I'll have more to say about that as the day goes on. But XHLD certainly on watch. MLYS is coming in a little bit here. I will be waiting. I haven't thrown my order out yet, but I will be waiting at the volume weighted average price for this bad boy. As you can see, we've got a lot of different names up on here. ADTX. Now, if you watched me trade yesterday, you know this is a holdover from yesterday. It's a second day play. Come on, bro. Show yourself. It's a second day play, but guess what? We're not an inside day. We're higher lows and we're higher highs on ADTX. I love this setup. So we kind of consolidate sideways here in the pre-market yesterday. We big boy break and then we retrace and kind of close at VWAP generally. We close a couple of shekels below VWAP. VWAP was at 769. We closed at 750. This morning, we catch a bid right before the pre-market there at around 8:30. This one starts putting in higher highs, higher lows, loses, though, the volume weighted average price right at the open, right at 9:30. So it wasn't in focus for me. It did, though, find support at yesterday's afternoon high. So that 825 area had all sorts of support for it. And then all hell broke loose to the high side. That is about 10 minutes before 11. This one caught a lot of volume. It broke VWAP. It broke the after the market high. Obviously broke the pre-market high as well. And now it's got a high day of 1185. It did, though, and again, I really want to stress this, type of trade, it really did get away from the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. And why is that relevant? Well, I use the 10 exponential once these stocks get really parabolic to gauge overbought and oversold conditions, mostly overbought conditions, because I typically don't short these bad boys. So what does that mean? That means it got too far away from the 10, so I'm waiting for it to come a little bit closer to the 10, just what it did right there. It got a 1050 bounce and then popping back up. But as you can see, it's moving 20, 30 pennies at a time. That usually means it's a spready stock. Okay, you don't even need to look at the level 2 most of the time to kind of know it's spready. When it's moving that aggressively, it usually means there's a bit of a spread between the bid and ask, and hence why it's doing that. So ADTX certainly in focus, but not the best setup quite yet. Sadly, LSE is losing the bid. AEVA losing the bid. I've got my eye on Lucid, despite the fact that I went 0 for 2 on Lucid yesterday. Lucid's up again today. It was up big yesterday. It's up nicely today. It's not big, but it closed out at 235, and we have a 257 high a day. I'd like to pick this up off VWAP, maybe at around 247. You'll likely have to size into this one to make any real amount of money because it's like $2, okay? So that's the way. And then ATER, when I kind of just started looking at this one, it was above the volume weighted average price. It's lost that. Last, but certainly not least, one that kind of came up at around 10 o'clock. This one was not really moving at the open. CSAI. So this has got it's good, but it's number one, it's spready. Number two, it's got very wide range per candles. And when a stock has a tendency of putting in these topping tail candles, it means it will do it over again. It usually is not a one-off incident. And just take that for me for what it is, okay? When it gaps up aggressively like that and it shows a tendency to break the high but then pull back, it will usually do it again and again and again, not sequentially, but it will have that inherent in its kind of DNA, so to speak. So it's above the 10, it's above VWAP. I like it at $7 because you have an overlap there between the 10 and the volume weighted average price on CSAI. So those are the three that I like, or the four, excuse me, that I like the best. MLYS, CSAI, ADTX, and last but not least, XHLD, Joseph.
Yeah, good stuff there, guys. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the chat. We're talking up a storm here, officially unburdened. I totally agree with you. You know, I'll talk about it all the time. Elevated VIX, definitely an option seller's market, not the best for buyers. I was about to say something to you as well. But also keep in mind, so what I've learned over experience, I don't always need to be in a position, but when I get into a position, I have a lot of conviction behind the thesis, and then that way I can just kind of make it as large as I possibly feel like a little bit uncomfortable with. And I think that's what you got to do. So when I'm not in something, that's totally fine. Being in cash is a position in my swing account, all right? I like to sit on cash and I wait for those prime opportunities. I have multiple set up. I had a bull put, an offer on a bull put. It didn't get filled. That's fine. And I'm looking to acquire some hood calls for September, but I'm going to wait for it to start to pull in. I had that 5% pullback yesterday, and I should have pulled the trigger, but I was just a little bit too busy, and I didn't. So I'm going to be a little bit patient. If I can get 40, 50s, then I'm going to enter that trade. I really like that. But if I'm writing things, then being patient is really good. And I like that you pointed out officially is that you're 45 days out, and that's great because that's how you reduce your gamma exposure, and that's something that I should do as well too. I like to write weeklies, but then as you get closer to expiration, that's when the gamma starts to increase. And if you're especially getting closer to at the money, you can get in some serious trouble. It's happened to me before, but again, I like that 30 to 45 days out for writing because when you come to about a week around expiration, you can just get out of the trade and then just roll that contract essentially if you want to, right? To just collect all that premium from the previous 2 weeks, 2-3 weeks, and then you'll be okay. Without having to weekly and worry about losing all those potential returns in that span. But yeah, guys, we're gonna go over to it there.
This part of the show is brought to you by Vinfast. Meet Vinfast, Vietnam's all-electric EV powerhouse, driving a new era of global green mobility. In 2024, they delivered 97,000 EVs, and now they're on track to double that momentum. With expansions in dynamic markets like Indonesia and the Philippines, plus a fresh green series for commercial fleets, Vinfast is electrifying possibilities. Powered by bold vision and proven execution, this emerging trailblazer is forging a sustainable future, fast, efficient, and impactful. Keep your eyes on Vinfast, Vietnam's dynamic EV leader, rewriting the rules of mobility. Buckle up, this ride's just getting started. Back to you.
Nice one. Buckle up, the ride is just getting started here, guys. Let's see if we can get this fill up here at 8 on TSLA. I tried to add at 796, but it just rejected my order, unfortunately. So I got to post up there and wait for it. But here we go. Let's see if we can tap into 8. All we need is the bid to run into it, guys, and then we will catch this fill here on TSLA. Come on, push it. Push it. You ever see that meme? Yeah, push it. Push it real. Do you ever see that meme where the guys are like blowing on their screen to try to get the stock price to go up? It's absolutely hilarious. My dude killing it over is, let's go. Yeah, DJ 2am dropping some new Dolph mixtapes there. Nice work there, my guy. Yes, Vladimir, how can we help you? You just tagged us and you didn't really ask anything. So I'll keep an eye out for what you have to say and what questions you may have. But here we go. I really like this signal here on Google, so let's see if this comes into play. As soon as we get the break, maybe that could be a potential swing trade there as well, too, at the crack of 164.35, still being down about 25% from that peak there, guys. So I really like this look. Let's see if we can catch that fill. We're just knocking on the door. I don't see anything on the immediate bid that's going to say, hey, we're going to catch this 8. We got to push it. We need to get those offers slightly higher to see. There we go, and we caught that fill. So we'll go with it, Sharif. And bang, and bang. So yeah, holding some, we got that crack of the high a day. I really wanted to add right here, guys. I didn't get the opportunity, it passed me. But one thing I do note here is that I like this bottoming signal on RGTI here, Gorev. Take a look, multiple candles, and then now we're trading above it. You do have that isolated volume signature. You crack it to the low side, but then you get a follow-up print here as well, and now you're slowly climbing back. I know Green Guru asked me to take a look at AI asked me multiple times, so we shall do so. It's looking really good here, Green Guru, from 22.26 to 22.79. So yeah, a good look. We'll zoom out and see what we got going on from a daily standpoint. I mean, this could be a potential good swing. I like this nice round bottom right here, Shreve. I know you like rounded bottoms here as well, and this looks like a pretty good setup. You can see, yeah, you can see that we're holding these support levels fairly well, and now starting to curl back over, running through that resistance zone. This could be a potentially good swing, but I really want to get, now that I'm sitting on cash, I'm like a kid in a candy shop. It's like, what can I buy and where can I buy it? But I like Rigetti. I like Rigetti and QBTS as well here, guys, because it is starting to run into these all-time highs. So I want to stick with the stronger names, and if we can crack through 1150, then we might be able to climb higher in it. But again, if you were in it anywhere at the lows here, then you're sitting on a nice return already, over close to 150%, which is fantastic. So yeah, I like this quantum space right now. It's back in play. I mentioned it before. Now it's trading higher. You can see this insane engulfing bullish candle right here, guys, and then you just continue in that strength to the top side, cracking through this pivot high here, and then continuing here. But we're starting to pull back, so it might be an opportunity to get entry.
All right, couple of trades I took while you were talking. We got into ADTX for the 12th break. What the beak there all the way up into 35s. dropped back down below 12, got stopped out. What's going on? Tesla's
breaking,
nuts, eh?
man. Let's go.
Tesla's 4.5 in the clear right now. Yeah, you're riding that. Wow, breaking through the flat top.
Yes.
That 234 flat top on Tesla is absolutely monstrous, bro.
Yeah, you gotta
that was multiple resistance levels. Let's just pull that up real quick there. I think that's really important to show because Tesla is one of the fan favorites, baby. TSLA.
Sucks.
Here it is. This is what I'm talking about. Multiple 234 attempts. You had the initial one right at the open. You got another one at around 10:20, and then you had a couple over here, one at 11:15, and then you got the big boy break with higher low. So great trade, Joseph. Good look for you, my man. Keep me updated. Keep us all updated about that. So back to ADTX. Probably kept my stop a little bit too tight, but I didn't like taking the break of the high of the day. I'm buying here if we dip down into 11. That is the 10 exponential. I'm going to throw it in order to front run that. I'll wait at 15s. It's showing me 75s right now. Let's see what comes of this trade. But not a bad trade so far. Was able to take about 30 pennies, give or take. MLYS, I'm back into this one. Wet the beak already. Got initially at 52. Took out some at 69s. Added as it dipped down into VWAP at 32s. I'm looking to add again into 1720s, and we're break even on it right now. Actually, we're a few pennies in the money, but I don't think I want to take anything out until we attempt 18. MLYS was, to me, a very obvious buy program that got turned off. Let's see if it, the move up here attracts some intraday traders, and we're able to ride the momentum possibly back into the high side here on MLYS. I'm involved in XHLD as well. This is below VWAP, but I've given myself to below 90 here because I've seen this story before where we breach VWAP and then kind of by a couple of pennies, maybe even less, and then move right back up. So I said to myself, you're so close to that 90 penny level, just give it to 90s, and that's what I've done. We're showing 91.5. I'm long 94. We're out of the money. Haven't printed anything on this one yet, but I'm looking for this one to kind of try to reclaim the volume weighted average price, and I'm setting up my profit takers, my beak wetters, so to speak, in front of that $1 area, knowing that that dollar area does act as resistance on occasion. So those are the two trades I'm involved in. It was a short-lived trade on ADTX, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the matter. I've got a dip trade now looking to shadow the 10 exponential moving average on the 5 on ADTX, excuse me. And I also like, look, if 11 doesn't hold, then I certainly will be looking at around $10 for a couple of reasons here. Initially, we had an area crest at 10 bucks. It rejected 10, dropped down to 8, held 8, and then we ended up taking 10 after that. In addition to 10 being an area price action resistance, it is also currently the volume weighted average price. It doesn't mean that VWAP remains there. VWAP is a dynamic indicator, meaning it changes as time goes on and the price action develops. So currently, it's a couple of shekels below 10, I think at 988, give or take. But if it comes down into there, I like it at 10 and VWAP, especially with the overlap. We'll see what ADTX wants to do. I'm gonna give the first attempt at 11 to shadow, or to basically try to front run the 10 exponential, which is essentially at 11 bucks. So those are the two trades I'm in right now. Nothing doing on XHLD. It's not breaking 90, but it's not printing me anything to the high side. And then this one, MLYS, we were able to wet the beak. It's holding VWAP, but that's the good news. The bad news, the current candle still has a lower high than the previous candle. So we're either locked in a range or we're still putting in lower highs with that flat bottom. Those last two options, I don't like. I don't mind a range if it's setting up for higher lows and higher highs. We'll keep an eye out on that one. Stevenson. I appreciate you, man, my man. How long have you been in the game? I'm transparent with it. Like, I'm gonna just tell you fully, dude. I don't take big positions on the show. I like to execute the trades as I see them so I can keep a clear head and give you guys what I see is the best thing. So you're not gonna hear me pretend like I'm up 1,000, 1,500 bucks. That's just not my nature. I will tell you exactly what I'm doing and kind of let you guys make the money, so to speak. So that's my position right now. We're involved in these two bad boys. Joseph, how's that TSLL?
Yeah. I mean, it's working out here, guys. We're very, very well. So that's it. But you know, to add to Sharif's point, I'm like, all right, Sharif, I was trading IBIT this morning. I'll pull it up for you guys. I only got about 1% left, or no, 10% left here in this TSLA trade. So I'm just going to hold it for the dream. But I'll pull up my iBid here once again, guys. And I'm like, all right, Sharif, I'm heavy now after this final ad. And he's like, yo, he's like, chill, bro. He's like, breathe. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. And then I took some off, and then I was like, all right, now you're calm. It's funny because you get all antsy, but then when you get to it, when you take off size that you're comfortable with, and then you're just calm and cool, right? So it's like the first couple partials for me, and then you kind of start to calm down and realize that you're in the moment and just need to execute the trade. But again, as soon as I get those first couple outs, now I know that I'm risk off. The trade's working, and then you can just kind of calm those nerves. He's like, breathe, bro, breathe. And I'm like, yeah, all right, I'll take it easy here. But yeah, good luck and thank you for that, man. But see, that's the thing here, though, too, Sharif. Imagine I was sitting here by myself, and then I'm not in panic mode, but I'm like not thinking rationally because I'm excited, things are working out, and then you have somebody beside you just being like, yo, you've done this before, relax, breathe, and everything's, having a trading partner, whether it be someone who's beside you or in the chat, Obi's always in the chat, just somebody along this journey with you just makes it so much easier, guys. So again, I'm big on trading like communities like what we have here, and then even just having a trading buddy. Greg V was mine for a very, very long time, still my buddy. Sharif's now my trading buddy as well, too. So it just helps out around the clock. So it's a good look there. So yeah, continuing to cook up here in Tesla. I'm upset that I didn't get this ad here because I did punch it, but then it just rejected the order. So I'll have to post up next time. But I do like how this pullback was on lower volume than what we were climbing, even though it was slightly stair-stepping up and some indecision there. And I wanted to get that additional share size in there. But again, if we can crack through this, I'll just take my last little bit of out there, and then hopefully we can maybe find another trade. But that'll be it for Tesla. We are starting to run into some pre-market zones as well. So I'm going to take that into consideration because we are rejecting resistance levels fairly well. And you can see we're running into this support level here, which is now acting as resistance. So that'll put us at 235. But it feels really good to sell at the low here. That's total sarcasm, but yeah, I'm not going to worry too much about that. So yeah, I knew that. There, homie. Yeah, I knew, dude. How long have I been saying that for? I said it to Greg. I said it to multiple people. I'm like, watch. As soon as I get out of this position, it's going to start to rally. And then sure enough, here we go. But it is what it is. And
I think a lot of people felt that pain before.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you feel the markets. If
you've been trading, you've definitely felt that pain before. Yes. So yeah, there it is. Yeah, got to trade like a robot, says Pug Life. Yeah, I agree with you, man. But sometimes it's hard, but you got to contain yourself, stay humble when it's. And DJ TYM, yeah, very true. Daryl Flinch, let's see what you got going on. Tesla testing that key range between 235. Nice that I mentioned that 236. See if it can start holding and take long. If not, fail right back to 230. Yeah, sounds really good there. Okay, so me and Jose were doing some work last night, just talking about the options chain, and I want to go over some things here to see what we might have in the works for this FOMC meeting today, and the possible ranges that the market can give you, and say, hey, this is what all these participants are pricing in, and you can use the chain and open interest to kind of gauge this level. I want to pull up my chat to see what I actually sent to him last night, just to confirm on what I had going on. So nothing crazy. 480, 470, I believe, in the Qs. What are we trading at right now? 479. Okay, so we're gonna pull up the Qs. I had SPY here to see what the NAS is up, because we know that the tech heavy is extremely weak. So 480, 9,000 open contracts. For 2 o'clock today, I don't see anything outstanding besides what we're sitting at right now. And 480, I mentioned to him last night. And then where was our high here today, Sharif?
Where?
479.55. 479.55. I have the. It's in writing right here. I'm gonna show you guys as well. I said to him last night, nothing crazy. Would look at 480 and 470 to be respected, but again, no large levels of OI. We tap into 480 on the Qs, and then we reject it here. So really, really nice look. Love the options chain, guys. If you have the ability to if you have access to it, use those for ranges throughout the day, and it's gonna really help your trading. All right, guys. So yeah, that is that. I'm gonna piece out this last bit of Tesla at 816. I'm gonna put the order in. What are you up to, my guy?
All right, man, we're long ADTX. I got the dip trade that I wanted. These always seem to be the most profitable trades for me. Dip trades off key levels. This one was a 10 exponential. We're already nicely in the money. I did wet the beak there into about 50. 3 out so far, looking for this one to hold 11. So I'm going to move up the stop. I initially gave it to about 1060 just so if it wicked down aggressively, I wouldn't get stopped out. But I'm going to move up my stop into that 1098 area, and then we're going to give it a little bit of room here. How many shares do we have left of that? Okay, good. All right, so I'm waiting next at 50 something or another, mid to high 50s. Here we go. It's showing me 40s. It did pop up into 40s, which is where we got the print to high 40s. That is. Now we'll wait for either a 50 break or to get stopped out. So here we go. Showing me 50. There is a hidden seller at 50. You can kind of see that right away. Nothing posted on the book or not enough size at the actual level to prevent the price from moving up given how much volume was coming in. So we know that there's a hidden seller now at that $0.50. And these $0.50, they can be areas of support and resistance for these small cap gappers. Nothing we're unfamiliar with there. So gonna pack my patience on this one, looking for that $0.50 break. Let's see what comes. XHLD, we're gonna get stopped out soon on this one. It looks like it's putting lower highs, lower lows, but we won't be taking too much of a hit there as it's kind of a bit of a cheaper stock. CSAI, we still haven't gotten filled. I did move up my order to shadow the 10 exponential. That's no longer valid because the 10 exponential is a dynamic level and it requires you, to move with the price action. So we're going to go ahead and set up here at 755 for a dip trade. Let's see if we can get something in and around there. I'm going to talk about BON in a second, okay? I will because this one was on my side chart and I removed it because it lost VWAP as we started the show. But it is, I think it is the #1 gapper. It is up 90.5%. I'm not showing it on the screen yet. I'm just keeping my eye on this current trade on MLYS. This has been holding at VWAP now for 4 5-minute candles. Okay, after being insanely directional all morning, it is now awfully consolidative. So I'm looking to extract some profits here at the 50s. I didn't sadly get anything printed in the teens, 17 mid-teens. So we're going to hold on to our order at 43s. We're essentially 10 pennies out of the money right now on it. Let's see what comes of this. So now let's go to talk about BOWN. Bone. I'm going to call it Bowen. I don't know why, but BOWN. This one halted multiple times on the way up, so let's find out a little bit more about it. It's a $77 million market cap, having traded not that much, about 3.7 million shares on the day, probably has something to do with the halt, about 7.1 million share float, and let's check what Trade Ideas says about this one. Yeah, it says 7 million share float. I sadly don't have a short float for BOWN, so we'll have to fly blind here when it comes to the short float. What I do see, though, is respect for the pattern. I saw an $8 give or take flat top. Now, you did get this outsized move initially, but you got rejection off 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then you broke it on the 7th. I'm not counting this one because this one retraced super quick. All the while we were rejecting off 8, we were putting in higher lows. So this one feels like an ascending wedge. It is also generally on the wicks down, respecting the 20 exponential moving average, okay? This candle, this current candle that we're involved in on the 5-minute is bouncing, the low here at 775 is bouncing perfectly off the volume weighted average price. So I'm keeping an eye on this one. This one, you're likely, the money fills probably are gonna be dip trade fills, off key levels. That's just my inclination with BOWN. It's a great one, though. I mean, if it can kind of settle down, give you a predictable pattern rather than having these zigzagging candles through resistance, below resistance, so to speak, I think we could definitely work with this one. All right, we're doing well here on ADTX. I can see that. Multiple prints to the high side. We just got filled at 60s. Let's move up a little bit now. We only have 1 out left on ADTX, so I'm going to be quite lofty in my expectations. We're going to wait in the low 90s to front run that $12 level. Technically, the day high is $12.30, but again, with these small cap gappers, you're likely to encounter areas of support and resistance at these whole dollars and as well as a $0.50. Nothing changes with respect to my out. I already made that clear. I've moved it up from 1060, the area low, into $11. So we're risking about 15 pennies left on this bad boy here. That's going to be my look there. Let's go MLYS. This one is displeasing me greatly because it's continuing to hang out at VWAP. I shouldn't say it's displeasing me. It's making me a little worried because that kind of direction. Let me show you my black charts. I think you can kind of see the buy program a little bit clearer on this. So this, in my I have no proof, obviously, but just from my experience, this feels like a buy program. And when you get the buy program shutting off at such a predictable time, 11 a.m., you got to wonder, is there anybody else that's going to step in to buy? Yeah, look at that, Neil. I mean, it was just quite directional, and now it's been obviously shut off at 11 o'clock. That's when we kind of made the first red candle there. This one looks like a bit of a consolidation. So whoever was buying this obviously was interested in it. Is there anybody else, though? Because that buy program got shut off. We don't go up without volume, right? So I'm a little concerned. Now, the other side of that coin is it's holding VWAP, and it's been holding VWAP for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 5-minute candles. That's good news. The bad news is we're not putting in higher highs and higher lows. So there's really no real support there, I should say. So we'll see with this one. I'm already kind of negative on it from that initial trade, but I did extract some profitability on the pop. We'll see if we can get some more. I'm going to try to be strategic with my stop placement, but you never know how these things end up going. XHLD, it's finding support at this level at around 90 pennies. I'm just going to leave my stop where it is. It's below 88, and if it ends up breaking down, it breaks down. So that's ADTX. Let's go back over here. CSAI, man. This is the one I just need to punch in at. Like, I keep moving up my dip trades, and it keeps giving me the middle finger because, again, I keep trying to shadow the 10 exponential. So my order is at 55s. That's no longer accurate because the 10 exponential is at 75, and it really hasn't touched the 10 exponential in the last 10 minutes. I mean, I don't know what to do. I don't want to chase it either. So I'm going to go ahead and wait a little bit higher than the 10 exponential this time. I'm going to wait at 82s, 10 exponentials at 75s. I'll wait at 85. There we go. We'll see if we can get something in and around there on CSAI. Joseph.
Yes, good luck there, guys. We're all out of Tesla. I should have been a little bit more patient because I just pulled up the options chain and then I seen high levels of OI at $240. So I think that's going to be a potential target. We may not get right into 240, but I'm also going to look for a rejection at this level. So this was our Tesla trade here, and we're still continuing to climb higher. So yeah, that's the look. We're now at $8.20 on TSLA using that 2x leverage, which I tend to like to do, but a nice positive sign here on Tesla. So yeah, that is that there, guys. Google's continuing to climb higher. Yeah, I mean, you always want a little bit more. I would have had some more shares. I just ran out of shares all the way up here. If I got this, yeah, exactly. If I got this ad here, then I would have been sitting pretty, but that's okay. So yeah, we'll be patient, wait for those levels to come into play. Watch out for 240. We might get a little bit of a bounce, 19,000 open contracts, and then you want to go to that next kind of target. It's going to be 250, a ways away. Again, has about 26,000 open contracts, and then you're going to go 260 with about 24,000 open contracts. So those are what stand out to me. 200 on the put side, so not overly worried about that. And then you got about 220, you got 18,000 open contracts at that level. But here we go. We're going to continue to climb in Tesla. I do believe that 240, 239 is going to be in the works today. I grabbed the majority of this move, so I can't complain really, even though you would like to still be holding on to some as we partial out. But that was it. I had 2 attempts on Tesla here. Got that one partial, then I just cut that one out just a little bit before break even because the tape flipped. But here it goes, continuing to climb. So yeah, it is what it is. You got to accept the trade. Nvidia looks like it wants to break out. I would rather get that closer to the volume weighted average price here. Oh yeah, wow, nice look there on Tesla. Yeah, I'm out, but I mean, hey, it does look like Nvidia wants to climb higher. You got to watch out now. This what I'm finding with this underlying is that it really starting to trade how Apple trades. And I remember when I first got involved in trading in 2022, Apple was my favorite. Why? Because I had a basic scan and it always had had that volume. So I'm like, oh, okay, it must be in play, et cetera, but it's not necessarily the case. It's just multiple fake outs throughout the day. You got to position yourself really well when trading this stock. And now I find it trades relatively close to how Apple trades most of the time, just because of the float is so large and it takes a lot of capital in order for this underlying asset to get moving. So yeah, that's a good look here. This is what's frustrating, right? Is just you sit, it's like, okay, you're going to play the VWAP break here. That's when you really need to worry about positioning. It's because you have a failed new high. You come back south of VWAP and it's like, all right, I got to get out of this trade, even though this is a support level. You can see it respected multiple times. And then you got to hop back in, fails that high, break again. And then at that point, you've used up a lot of mental capital and you're like, I don't know if I should take another swing at it. I have rules to abide by, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, that's it with Nvidia. When it's really in play, we'll notice that it's going to start to move relatively cleaner. But watch out for 480 on the Qs. I mentioned this before. That's where we kind of have some outstanding open interest. Nothing crazy to be overly alarmed by. During FOMC, we can definitely blow past that. But we're going to go off to Adair, guys.
Keep an eye here on the markets as we get into today's high of day. I think it is worth noting that Donald Trump posted a couple of minutes ago that he completed, quote, a very good telephone call with Zelensky of Ukraine, saying that much of the discussion was based on the call yesterday that Trump had with President Putin, and saying they're very much on track with regards here towards a potential ceasefire, saying that the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and National Security Advisor, Michael Waltz, will be apparently providing an accurate description of the points discussed. So keep an eye out for that description of the points discussed on the call between Trump and Zelensky. If I find any details on that, anything comes out on that, I'll let you guys know. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Adara. All right, a couple of things over here. MLYS, we got stopped out. So we're basically 0 for 2 on this one. But we are doing better. XHLD just got the first print as this one's curling up. Pleased with that one. ADTX involved here at the volume weighted average price. I ended up getting stopped out break even for the last remaining amount. It's at VWAP now at that technical level, so I'm trying to give it to prior bar low. If it breaks, it breaks. But yeah, there, it just broke prior bar low. I think that was a specialist breakout, though. Almost certainly a specialist breakout. So breakdown. So I'm getting right back in on this one. We're going to move my stop right back to where I wanted it. Give me a second here. There we go. And as I thought, is exactly what I thought, okay? There we go. Now we're taking some out over here as it dips back into my level. Let's just wet the beak there. And then we're going to set up some orders to the high side on this one. Now, I want to talk also about this bad boy over here, BOWN. So I set up my dip trade at 8. We scalped up into 840. Now I'm waiting at 856. We'll see if this one holds. I've moved up my stop from 777s to basically defend my position at 8. I'm long 805, looking for that flat top break to kind of manifest. We'll see if it comes or not. Holy cow, XHLD's going. Here we go. So we're going to take out some more over here. This one really kind of gave me a bit of a scare. We have more size on this one than we do on most of these others. This one is interesting, though, because we still have lower highs, and we're at that dollar. So I don't want to overstay my welcome on this one. Lower high, lower high, lower high. So just because we're positive on it doesn't mean that it is the right trade. So looking to basically de-risk a little bit here, and then we can leave a piece for the dream. And then if it wants to break above that 105 area where I perceive resistance, then we'll get back in there. That's exactly where I'm going to wait. Let's wait at 106 to see if we can get anything in and around there. CSAI might be coming into my area over here. Let's have a look quickly. Where's my CSAI? Okay, we just got long CSAI now. So now we're going to have to be careful. So I'm going to have to put in my stop below that $0.50. 785 is, whoa, wowzers, bro, wowzers. This one's giving up the ghost. I'm going to have to decide. Well, yeah, I'm going to have to get out of this. Now it's not letting me out, Joseph. No. All right, Adair, what do you got?
There we go.
Keep an eye here on NVDA. CEO Jensen Huang here making apparently some comments, likely at GTC, saying that the understanding of DeepSeek in a general sense is completely wrong by most people. He's also adding that demand for computing remains extremely high, partially because reasoning AI actually increases computing demand. So basically saying that a lot of these fears that people had with regards to the rise of DeepSeek R1 and it threatening Nvidia are incorrect, because it actually, we have this reasoning AI, will lead to an increase in computing demand, which according to him remains high. Back to you.
Gaurav, yeah, good look there on IBIT. Yeah, I just seen your message. It's climbing higher. I'm feeling FOMO here, guys, on this trade because I wanted it. I wanted it at both VWAPs, but I was just being a little bit too passive, which isn't always good. If the setup is there, just take it, especially when you have an opening drive like this here, guys, where VWAP is really trailing higher on these underlying assets. Now it's just absolutely squeezing up about 3%. So good look there. It's unfortunate I didn't get that one in there for you guys, so I apologize on that front. But yeah, we'll be patient. That was the game plan, right? Like, just be patient. I'll show you guys, hold on, what I got going on here for a second. Just from a note standpoint, and just getting back to my style, you know what I mean? Because I feel that's just like who I am. Like, I'm more of a sniper, you know what I mean, than most things. So here we go. So daily rules, right? Even though it's basic stuff, be patient, don't force the setup, no outsized losses, exit when planned. Define risk per trade, says Sharif. So there it is, the daily game plan starting to cook up there on which one are you cooking up there? CSAI, nice look there, bang. He's getting that revenge, following those rules. The market's starting to break out the cues. Can they break 480? We have high levels of OI there. I'm going to pull up the SPY to see what we got for our next potential level there, because we are starting to squeeze. Nice recovery here in the market. Why are we recovering? Well, we were down 13%, 14%, 20%, all across the board. Not a good look. This is what we want to see from an oversold bounce. What do we have? 570 could be in the works today, Sharif, because we don't have any higher open interest until we hit that strike price. We're climbing higher. FOMC in play. I think if it really, really gets volatile, we see 570 and there might be a slight rejection. 14,500 open contracts at that level, and I don't see anything relatively close as high as 10 more strikes there, guys. So yeah, follow this IBIT continuing toward the long term is loving this. Get us make Bitcoin great again, as Katina Man likes to say. We like it. I think it was a bit of a delayed reaction on the reserve, and I had a feeling that the ball was really going to start to get rolling here. So a lot of good names at some discounts. We're happy to be sitting on some cash, Sharif.
Yeah, man, I feel you. It's an easier feeling waking up in the morning too, quite frankly, when you're just sitting on cash. The FOMO though also hits equally as hard.
Yeah, well, I told you I sold Tesla at 229 this morning, and at 226, and now.
That's all good. I mean, no, I mean, like, genuinely, like, when you get out of a position, right? You're feeling good. It's like, I don't have to check everything every morning. I'm out of the money. I'm in the money, blah, 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 right? But when things start moving without you daily, I don't want to punch in at highs. I don't want to punch in at, so I've been there, done that. It's a great feeling. All right, guys, we're back in CSAI, scalped up aggressively into that 788. Now we're waiting at 795 and then in front of 8. But anything below 740, that's where I perceive there to be kind of support. So we'll get out there if that level breaks. Otherwise, I'm going to pack my patience. I'm quite happy with how ADTX is trading. We got in at 9.99. It's showing me 40s. It did pop up to 50s. I'm waiting at the 70 penny level. XHLD as well continues to please me. I'm going to wet the beak up here as well. Not a bad look. We still have some shareage here on XHLD, but I am concerned with this $1 area being a resistance level. So trying to pack my patience on this one. So ADTX, XHLD, and CSAI are the ones that I'm involved in. Back to CSAI, because I'd like to see this one pop up possibly into 8. This one bamboozled me, and I literally got stopped out like bottom wick, which is, it's not a great feeling. It is one of the worst feelings I have, because then you start, kind of blaming yourself. Why did I get out there? Why didn't I add into that position? Oh, it was still above this moving average or that moving average. I'm so silly. I shouldn't have done that. So it's kind of a bit of an annoying feeling. Oh, baby, here we go. XHLD breaking to the high side. Now we're going to set up some more orders up in this. You know what? We're going to wait at 10s for that big boy break. And then I'm going to wait at 18s. Because, well, we're going to front run the size, which is 22. So we'll see if XHLD wants to catch a bid. Already in the money on it, protected and well away from my entry. Now it's just got to basically move on up and give us the print. ADTX, no print still above the halt level. The halt level is 1040, and we've seen this story before. The up halt there did halt at 1040, gapped up into about 1070. Okay, so these intraday halt levels sometimes, underline that, sometimes act as areas of support and resistance. It's not always the case, but just be aware of them in case they do act as support and resistance on the occasion that you're trading it. So yeah, nothing printed quite yet on CSAI. That bottom wick into the 20 exponential pushed me out, but we're right back in looking to exact some revenge. As I mentioned, guys, I've moved up my stop into that 740 area, so we'll have to hold on to that area. DJ 2 a.m. I like that. Oh, you know what? I saw the trader's journey, but didn't see one for Joseph or Sharif. You guys were doing them like 4 years ago. Well, I wasn't on the show 4 years ago. Neither was Joseph. I got on August 2022. So this August will be 3 years for me. But still, yeah, I mean, that's like actually a good idea. Maybe we should do that again. I think that would be interesting.
A trader's journey?
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
you
and I talk about it informally. You kind of told everybody about COVID and how you and I both got started, this, that, and the other. So some people kind of know our stories, but maybe not as well as they'd like. Or
I'd like to call it an expedition because it's
Are you going the Antarctic, bro?
Yeah, bro, it's a pure expedition. You got a lot of endless hills to climb.
You like the Ford Expedition?
I don't mind it.
It's not bad. It's a big boy car.
It's a big boy car. You know what I mean?
I don't know what obsession I had with these cars in high school. I wanted to fit all my friends in them. So
yeah, that's the thing, right? That's when you're that age.
Not that age anymore. I don't want to fit in my 100 degen friends and hit money.
It's like you need a ride, bro. Come on.
I don't even want to ask you this because I know you're not going to remember. But Neil, do you remember Money, the nightclub Money? You know, he remembers.
Money.
Yeah.
Hit it, man. Hit it. Hit the dark. What do you mean money? We know the club. We know the club, man. We know the Money Club, man.
There we go, baby. All right. What are we doing over here? So we got stopped out for the last remaining amount on CSAI. Did dip below 40, but I'm keeping my eye here on ADTX, looking for that print into the 70 area. Good look there. Oh, wow. XHLD just came up into 10s. It did reject 10s. It didn't cross at that 10 penny area. So I'm thinking maybe I should wet the beak here and take it out there, and then we'll move up the other one right back to where it was in case, that print doesn't come in. I'm kind of frustrated with how I traded CSAI here, man. Pushed me negative on the day, this little, right? So I'm going to have to figure something else here. This broke down below VWAP, though, so I don't want to trade this anymore. CSAI is the one I'm talking about, guys. It kind of just broke down there a little bit, but that's a look. Stevenson, your take on that island reversal on Tesla. 15-minute time frame. Say less, my man. Let's go ahead. Look at that island reversal. So 15-minute, you said? Okay. Here we go. Oh. So I see what you're saying, but I wouldn't be so quick to call that an island. Because technically, at least from what I remember doing the lessons on the island gaps, is that you got to be separated by an area where no price action took place, right? That's kind of what we mean by gaps, where there's, one print on the candle and then a gap where the next candle opens. But I see what you're saying. Double top, 237. Interesting. It's 237.07 technically is the high of the day. We're still below yesterday's no, that's not yesterday's closing print. That's like an older day's closing print. We're below the pre-market high, 238, 237 and a half, somewhere in and around that. I think the better person, to be quite honest with you, to answer your Tesla questions is going to be Joseph, because he's been trading it all morning. So I'm going to pass that off to him.
All right, cool. Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
So no worries, man. Let's see. I didn't even, to be honest with you, Sharif, man, I got a lot going on over here, so I didn't even hear the question. But as for Tesla, guys, I pulled up the options chain, and yeah, 250 might be in the works. I mentioned 240 is what we got to get through first, and you can see that we're starting to reject 237.10. So we didn't get quite to that strike price yet. And the same thing with the SPY and the Qs here, guys. The SPY, Q's having a hard time breaking 480 and putting all those contracts in the money. So if you're short at that 480 strike price on the Q's, you are starting to get some resistance. So possible hedging with the selling going on right now. If we punch through that, then you're going to start to see that you might get a little bit of a squeeze here, because we do have high levels of OI at those specific levels. So what I wanted to do here as well, too, guys, is I wanted to take a look at IBIT options chain to see what we got going on, to see if the option market is pricing anything out. The thing is that, like, this is a $50 name. So you're going to see a little bit of an increased activity on the chain here, guys. We got 30,000 contracts with this week's expiration cycle.
Hey.
At 50.50, which is interesting, $50.50. And then we have 29,000 at $50. So we have to keep a big time eye out at on this level. And what did we trade as high as? 48.30. Okay, so in order for us to break through that, we're going to need some large, some big boy participants to grab that liquidity. It's not really balanced either, which is a positive sign, but it can also act as some serious resistance, guys. So watch out for 50.50 and 50.50 there on the options chain. That's where you're going to see those high levels of open interest. But yeah, TSLA, again, I got to be happy with this one. Patience was really key. You can see that it held this base here, guys, really nice. So you get a nice support level, double bottom, we'll call it, and then it looks like on that third attempt to break through is when you get it, and then you can see on the lower time frames that volume really start to step in here. So and then just confirmation as we start to increase. So yeah, that worked out. Again, I'm not going to say it too many times, and I don't want to dwell on the past and what's going on, but an ad here is ideal, kind of like what we had going on with iBid as well, right? So this one's gone through the roof, which is absolutely phenomenal. But you can see that the idea here is identical type price action. Here, I'll do a comparison actually of the two charts. Do it live, baby. So yeah, so you can see that we have this ad right here, and this is where that ad should have been on TSLA. So you can see this on iBid here, guys. So we get that ad as we break through, and then I went to punch here, but it just didn't order, and then I didn't want to chase. I'm like, all right, let me take some off instead, which doesn't make too much sense, but it is what it is. And yeah, we can't really complain too much. Let's see what we got going on, guys. The poll is now up. Make sure you get those votes in. 58% to the long side. We didn't do it yesterday. I think we were slightly distracted, but that's okay. We'll get back on track because that's what consistency is. Apple, Gaurav, I was looking for those signals on Apple. I just don't see. I didn't see what you were looking at. There is a nice engulfing candle if you're looking for that type style of play. But if you're referring to hammers, I'm sorry, I didn't see it. And if I had the time frame wrong, I know you said 11:25, which would put us a little bit over here. So I'm just like, yeah, I don't see it. Maybe you recognize something that I don't, and that's what the eyes are for, right? It's like, hey, Joe, I recognize this, and I don't see things. But here we go on Google, guys. Again, I mentioned this hammer candle, so a nice bounce in this name. Let's see if we can get a little bit more of one. And I like what Sharif pointed out to me this morning as well. He's like, you see on the indices, he's like, we're double topping, and he was referring to the TSX, I believe, yeah. And he's like, okay, we usually come back and test that range. I don't know if that's going to happen in Google, but that would be ideal, right? You can see that we have a next support and resistance zone right at 182, and if you get any momentum to the top side, you can definitely come into this range and then head back a little bit lower. But I do like this for a potential bounce, especially because of that daily print. So yeah, we'll be patient on that. You can see Tesla's starting to come back in at those levels, guys. Use the options chain. Use the options chain. You got some. Oh, whoa. Okay, never mind what I'm saying about the options chain. Let's go, Sharif.
Wow.
Pull it up there, man.
Broke to the high side, man. XHLD is halted to the upside. Got out at 18s. It's currently halted. Joseph at 123. It did break the high of the day at 1040, which was 122. So we have a technical high day breach right now on this bad boy. It's halted. Give it 5 minutes. Currently the tap is 113, so it's already a little bit lower than where we closed off. We shall come back shortly, but I just wanted to mention this quickly because Bruce Wayne asked about SRPT. I know we got to go to Adara and Neil. SRPT, Saretta Therapeutics trading higher after the stock fell on Tuesday after the company reported a patient death following the treatment of, I don't know how to say this word, so I'm not even going to take a shot. Okay, Adara's got the catalyst. Take it over, Adara.
In a bit more detail. So this one was actually on our watch list yesterday. If you want more details, you can look at that. Basically, Sarepta Therapeutics released a kind of oddly worded letter saying that they did have a young patient die after taking their treatment for Duchenne muscular dystrophy. They also said that this is apparently a really common side effect, which is a little troubling sounding. But again, you can read more about this on our watch list from yesterday. Is our Trader TV live watch list. That would be the March 18th edition. That is the catalyst here for SRPT from yesterday. It looks like a bit of a recovery play. But in terms of what we're watching out for today on the market, S&P 500 still near day's highs, as is the NASDAQ. Both of these nice uptrends here on these 15-minute charts. Of course, though, the star of the show is going to be Jerome Powell and his Fed team, because at 2 p.m. Eastern, so just about 2 hours from now, we are going to be getting A, the Fed rate decision, and B, comments from Fed Chair Powell coming through at 2:30 during that press conference, which can and often does move the market. Speaking of conferences, though, Nvidia GTC 2025 still in full swing. Jensen Huang making some comments saying that he thinks that the reaction to DeepSeek's R1 launch, which led to a huge drop for Nvidia, is a misunderstanding, saying that actually this could lead to continued strength for these computing because it's really required if you're going to do these reasoning models. Also on watch here is Carvana. CVNA bouncing really nicely after dropping, you can see right here around 11 a.m. after Automotive News reported that Amazon is now looking into that used car sales space. But before we get back to the Bash Brothers, we're going to take a moment to have our lesson of the day. So take it away, Neil.
Thank you very much, Adair. Lesson of the day. Wow. You know what? The second you pull up that Carvana chart, I was like, ooh, there's one for, I'll throw something about Carvana maybe at the end. But we've been talking about with Brian Shannon last night, and Sean brought it up this morning, and there's been a lot of talk about range-bound markets, and so what happens when thing is in a chop zone? Well, if you're really, really patient about it, breaking out of the chop can simply give you the best trading opportunities, and it comes about because of Tesla, but I want to start with maybe AMD as an example, because I caught the wrong end of this on AMD, and sometimes when you're doing like a lesson, it should be, hey, well, something that you picked up on today, could it have helped you in something else that you're looking at? And it could have been AMD. Like AMD, yeah, it's one thing to prefer the short at the open, didn't really get a pop-up that I wanted, but when it broke out of the chop of yesterday's range, it was a clean move down. But look at what happens, like the second it regains here, you're just in a different mode. It regains that prior support, it goes right up into the top, and now you're even getting a continuation break. So I'm not saying I should necessarily be in that breakout, but it's more along the lines of when you break out and you don't continue that trend, well, at worst, you could be back in the chop zone and start thinking longs in here. At the absolute best, maybe you're taking a reversion off the bottom. But this all comes about because we were noting how Tesla, and I'm going to use SoFi as another example here, was barcoding. It's not about the fact that it was not doing much of anything relative to Tesla's regular days. Let's look at a 3-minute chart first. Like this is what we were doing at the open. Tried to break the high, couldn't. Broke down, tagged the pre-market to prior day highs or as a support level, and then you just started barcoding. It's not just that it barcoded. It barcoded at the stair-step support level. So once it started to go, and you would have heard me, anyone that was in the chat when this was going, I was like, oh, triple top on Tesla, and I typed it into the chat and then missed the punch. Triple top, so you're doing not much of anything, but you awake the sleeping dragon when you hold a support level. There's like obvious resistance multi-day, and then triple top here today, and then you get that explosive breakout trade. Well, you know, that's just Tesla. Tesla does that kind of thing. Well, somebody else did it too, and did it even more simple. SoFi is an example of this. And this might have been, like hindsight's 2020, I wasn't looking at SoFi this morning, but this might have been, I actually think, the easiest breakout trade of the day in terms of a setup. Well, we're talking about barcoding, so I wanted to zoom out there, not in. We're talking about barcoding. How many things had drops at the open and then barcoded for a lot of the day? Okay, yeah, this is still a little bit of a range because SoFi is a cheap stock, but it didn't do anything new. It tried to break the bottom, failed, tried to break the tops and failed, and then just ended up settling right in the middle. Well, you're consolidating, doing nothing all pre-market. At the open, makes a run, stalls the top, holds the low, and then retakes that top. So now you have an opening range top, yesterday's top, and a simple breakout. You can use sideways action to your advantage because it's like a coil. Like you're just sort of condensing and coiling to break out to the upside or to the downside. It can work in either direction. And I think Tesla was a missed opportunity, but you could have grabbed it. Certainly SoFi was a good one. And then just one note on this Carvana. Now, anytime you have a news event, whether it's a short seller report or whatever, it could be anything. Like, you know, Boeing has their own issues, and we've seen this before with them. If you make one of these capitulation bottoms on a stock where there's a negative story and they buy it back up, yeah, this is bad for short sellers. It's not good. And you would have heard me say, man, if you can't hold this level on Carvana, it's in a lot of trouble. when that story came out. Well, guess what they did? They held that level. It would not surprise me. Now, it hasn't broken out yet, but it would not surprise me. It's a Fed day, so anything can happen with the Fed. That's my caveat. But if we can hold on to this bid, which you're already doing, and you get this double top break, why not? I mean, filling in the gap in here makes sense. The only problem is it's a Fed day, and then all of a sudden everything's just going to move because some comments that Powell made, and anybody that's rate sensitive, if they had changed the dot plot, could be an issue. But that is a trap some shorts on the bad news, and then squeeze them through the top, and then just try to fill in a little bit of this gap. And again, inside of the range to a certain extent from most of yesterday in the flag, and then breaking out the top. So it takes out the high, you give it to this prior low. That's the idea. Things are trying to coil and go. You saw what happened with Tesla. Ooh, Nvidia just tagged and pulled back at 118. So I'm going to cover. I'm in Nvidia. I'm going to cover on Nvidia. Wow, do you see that on Nvidia? Nvidia just really curled back in off the 118 level. It's really dropping. Something just happened. I'm going to jump out. I was long in Nvidia just now. But that is your lesson of the day. And Nvidia just dropped 70 pennies, now almost a full dollar. Something must have just happened on Nvidia. I'm not plugged in, but we'll send you back to the Bash Brothers. Go get them. That was a crazy wick.
Thank you very much, Neil. Joseph's got something to build on that point.
Yeah, as NVDA, so Neil was just talking about NVDA. So guys, pull up the chain, check that 118 strike on the put side. You'll see 102,000 open contracts. We rejected 118. We also have 50,000 on the call side as well too. I just watched it when I typed in the chat. I watched that OI on 118 go from 140 to 102 in a split second, just like that. That was insane. I'm like, wow. And then that's when I typed it in the chat, and I look at Tesla NVDA moments later, and then it just dropped over close to $1 or something along those lines. So what a liquidity grab there. Something going on in the chain, guys. And then we have a lot of OI at 120 as well too. So we got to watch out for these levels. The thing is it's balanced, right? So 120K on the put side and then 127 on the call side. So that's 247,000 potential shares right there, guys. So that is hefty. So keep an eye on that options chain. I can't believe I just seen that. I've never seen that before. Something go from 140 to 102 in the blink of an eye. So someone just offloaded a bunch of contracts. So yeah, much appreciated. And B Davis, no, I'm pretty. He's from was it Antigua, I believe. Neil.
Neil?
Yeah. His family's from Antigua, not Jamaica. Yeah.
A beach for every single day of the year.
Yeah, that's
365 beaches.
Is that? Oh, really?
Yeah.
That'd be a good.
It's one of the first things I learned about Antigua, vis-a-vis your boy.
All right, there you
What's
go.
that, Neil? He's never counted them, but he knows it is factual.
It's factual there.
So that's the situation there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Chef Joe, the call side is heavy. Exactly. You can see at 120, and then you have that ladder built all the way up to about 126. Roughly there, guys. So hundreds of thousands of contracts at those levels. If I'm going to combine 120 and then the 124 to 26, you got over close to 500,000 of open contracts. So that's quite a bit there, guys. You can see that we got that tanking price action as well as in the queues. Two guys, I was talking to Jose in the chat. I'm like, dude, yeah, just watch out for 480 on the queues. And we've had the inability to break through that because we got about 9,000 open contracts on that. Unfortunately, I cannot clue us. So exactly.
We tried.
It's okay. So I'm just asking you guys if you have access to it, just make sure you guys keep an eye out on that stuff. But here we go, starting to pull back in IBIT, waiting for these precise entries. I thought we were going to climb a little bit higher in Tesla because I did mention the OI at 240 and I was looking for a rejection, but we only got to 237.32 unfortunately, and then we're starting to pull back as the market does as well too. So we got to keep that in mind and just be patient, wait for those levels to come in. If the market's going to be really strong, then I believe we'll be okay and be able to grab these dips, and I think that's going to be the case here, guys. So yeah, I'm going to be patient. I'm going to pull up NVDA here. I'm sorry that I got just Bitcoin up, but look at this wick. Oh, here, we'll take a look at it from the 5-minute standpoint. I have all these bottom and tail candles, but this is genuine other than the fact that it goes to like 116. It went from 118 all the way down to 117 in a split second, and now we're trading at 117.57. So a nice rebound, but that was really, really fast. When I seen those contracts getting closed up there at 102 or 140 to 102K, moments later is when that flush went in. I'm like, whoa, and Treat's like, what's going on? I'm like, yeah, this, and that. So yeah, that's the take there from the options chain on Nvidia here, Treat.
All right, shout out to Anton. Wants to know which small caps we're trading today. Well, I'm just going to show you what we got on the side chart, and then we'll discuss each and every single one and the trades we've had on them. XHLD, it's a big boy move on the day. It is the #1 gapper, overtaking BOWN. We've traded both. Both are okay. Both have been profitable, but definitely not the best executions. Now, currently, BOWN is breaking down. It's breaking down below VWAP. It's lost 8. The only thing that really has going for it right now are the higher lows, but it's going to have to work above that volume-weighted average price for me to trade it again. It feels like it is losing the bid. XHLD is the one that is really interesting here. Now, this could be a double top. Now, you know, the successive crests of the double top don't have to be the same price level, but they should be kind of similar. So what we're talking about here is 122 and 132. So 10 pennies difference on a dollar name does matter, guys. So what I'm looking for here on XHLD, it looks as if, you know, it's bamboozling everybody. I mean, like, look at this current candle that we're in. This was a halt level at $1.22. We gap up, we go up to 32. This candle is engulfed by the subsequent candle, which is a bottoming or topping tail candle with like literally no body on it. So I'm unsure about how to trade this right now, given the current price action. I don't know if I should just stay away, or is there a trade at this $1.10, $1.08, right? Like, look at this consolidation area level top, the 10 exponential, as well as at that $1.10. So the 2 penny variance, I can definitely get behind that. But I just don't want to catch a falling knife, especially with a couple of topping tail candles right now. Here comes into 110. Let's have a look at what it does, and then we'll get to the other one that I'm currently trading right now. So finding support at a $1.11, $1.12. It did this before. I was actually waiting at a $1.10, and it came down to a $1.12, and I lamented not having gotten in, because look what it did after that. It popped into a $1.32, so I felt awfully silly. But here it comes again, coming right back into that $1.10. Let's see if it holds that 10 exponential moving average. And generally, that 110 to 108 area, that's kind of what I'm thinking about this one. XHLD, we were involved in this one sub $1, and then it kind of spiked out of nowhere, kind of to be expected, as that's how these small cap gappers act. The one that currently we're involved in, we've been in for a while, ADTX. I've been holding this for the last beak wetter up here. The area that I'm waiting is at 1070. However, we're not necessarily making lower lows, but I feel we are making lower highs. So I am concerned here that a flat bottom break ensues through the volume weighted average price. I've tried to account for that using strategic stop placement. We'll see how this cookie crumbles over here. We'll keep you apprised of that. Now, CSAI, it looks like I'm cruising for a bruising over here because I'm back involved in this name. I think I've executed poorly on it, where I've been basically trying to get my entire position all in one area, trying to kind of sniper it. I'm not that good. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking to build my position. So I got in initially at 65, what the beak at 80, but as you can see there, I've got multiple dip trades set up on this one for small size. We're going to wait at 750, 740, and then a little bit above 730 to build the position. It is putting in higher lows. That is what's keeping me interested in it. And for whatever reason, it's shadowing the 20 exponential moving average on the 5.
You tapped in? Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay, he's tapped in, yeah.
Oh, go ahead, Andre. What do we got? Ad read? Adara, go ahead.
Basically, sometimes what happens here is you'll get the move in the stock, then you'll get the catalyst. That looks like what happened here with Nvidia. So I got this. I mean, now it's been a couple minutes. I was trying to go earlier, but regardless, Nvidia's CEO Jensen Huang apparently saying at their GTC conference that he's confident margins will improve. That seems to be what led here to this pop and then drop back down here for the stock. Pretty intense reaction as Nvidia CEO Jensen Huang says that he's confident margins will improve. Back to you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Dara. I like the TQs up here, guys. We're just. Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, sorry.
Thank you. So with respect to CSAI, what I'm seeing here is higher lows. Let me just show it on the 5, and that's why we've set up the dip trades in the way that I've done. I feel like this one, trying to get it in your entire position at a 1 level by sniping it, maybe not the right idea. I am encouraged by these higher lows. I'm not encouraged by this consolidation area that we're trading at. So CSAI in focus up 36%. We'll see which way this cookie crumbles. I felt I was about to get stopped out here on ADTX as it weaseled right back into VWAP. I'm long below VWAP actually at 999s, but essentially VWAP is essentially 999 on my chart, literally $10 ADTX. So I'm trying to pack my patience here, but it does look like it's now using the 10 exponential as resistance as opposed to support. So we're kind of caught between the volume weighted average price and the 10 exponential as a bit of a range right now on ADTX. We'll have to pack our patience to see if we can get anything to the high side on this bad boy. We only got one more out left. I'd really like to wait for an $11 break. In fact, I like that level so much, I'm canceling my order at 1070, and I'm going to wait for an $11 break. We'll see if it comes or not. LSE, Joseph, just weaseled back. This one was a monster in the aftermarket yesterday, continued being a monster as well in the pre-market. It just weaseled back above that volume weighted average price to hit 14, but LSE is on my crap list until and if it can break above that pre-market high. That pre-market high is about 16.85. Let's say 17 bucks. If it doesn't break above that level, I don't trade it. There are likely bag holders here or shorts that are going to use that level to kind of push it down. That's my move right now. Those are the small cap gappers we're looking at. Let's see what comes the rest of the day, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. I want to short the TQs here because we are rejecting 480. I don't want to chase it all the way down here. So at any form of a retest and a fail here at 6180, then that's where I'll get in. And then we can use this as our high. So it'll be about a 10, 12 cent stop there, and that's exactly what we want to look at. So didn't have enough orders out at the top. Katina, man. It's all right. You get to use long TQs now. So good look there. Okay.
Uh-oh. What are we doing over there, Katina Man?
Are we moving long?
Get it, Katina Man. The Katina Man is long, the T triple Qs. You can't hear him, but I'll comment for him. So initially you saw he went short. He printed up a storm on the market. The market changed its tune, and so did the Katina Man. Basically picking off bottoms, and we're holding into the top there.
I have an order up there when I was...
That's okay. Set up resting profit takers next time, Katina Man.
I put it at the high of the day.
He put it at the high of the day. So that's why he wet his beak right there. That's why it printed, because he was putting the profit taker at the high of the day. But shout out to you, brother. I think, maybe we run up a little bit more. We'll keep you updated on the Katina Man's positions when and if they do change, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there. So a couple stuff in the chat here, guys, that we're going to go over. I've seen somebody say Mara is trash. Bitcoin's up over 1,500.
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, man. We've been talking about this for a long
I hate the miners.
Dude, yeah, exactly, man.
I despise the miners.
At what point, Sharif, do you think it's like, hey, okay, maybe they start to get the ball rolling here?
Good question.
Right? Because what if Bitcoin goes to a 500K and Mara has a couple 100,000 of these things, right? So it's like, okay, when are you going to really start to get going? But you can see, and this is just going to say, why, unless you're a bear or you're doing some sort of option selling on this, why do you think at any point that this is a good long? Right? This is like AMD, and it's the same thing. I just have no faith, even though it does look like it's rolling. It's not like, I know, dude.
I buy AMD 100 times out of 100 before I buy a miner again.
Yeah.
Put it that way.
Yeah. All right. There you go. Okay. Yeah. All right. There you go. So, you were in one of them.
I was in Mara, bro, and I had to hold on for dear life to lose $1 a share on that, and you had to wait for it to come back up. It took forever.
So you spent more mental capital than you did there. So same thing with AMD. I guess we are starting to curl over here, but for these Bitcoin miners, it's just like we'll pull up Riot as well here too to see what we got going on. It's like, why would you even want any part of this? I don't know. There's just better names, and that's just my opinion, right? So again, if you're involved in it, then hopefully just think about some account management. But Mr. God's Gift asked me here in the shit, which is why. Yeah, that is great. But hey, there you go, the cash cow himself. is back. But Mr. Godski, if you want to talk about Robinhood, I like Robinhood quite a bit here, guys, especially after these bottoms. 34, 35, 46 was those lows. We are now up 7 points from that point, target there, guys. Down 46% from peak to local bottom, and then now only 37%. The numbers on the Q4 report, phenomenal. Growth across the platform. We like this. Increased crypto activity, increased options activity, increased margins accounts, you name it, there's growth within this. The margins are improving as well too. I like Hood for the long term, and that's something I'm looking to allocate there, guys, is HOOD.
I like that. I like that. Where the money at? All right, that's Houston, Chingy, and Nate Dogg. Shout out to everybody in gold.
Remember Chingy?
All right, they're back, baby. Trade the Pool. Our friends from Trade the Pool are back on Trader TV. Trade the Pool is a game-changing platform that caps your risk while giving you the opportunity to trade real shares using the company capital. That means no more risking your own savings. Trade the Pool now offers an unlimited trading period during the evaluation phase. No pressure, no rushing. Take your time. Perfect your strategy and get funded on your terms. Remember, guys, your losses are capped at a one-time evaluation fee and your profits are unlimited. So head on over to tradethepool.com. What do you think they're going to do at Trade the Pool? And start trading.
Ooh,
hey, there it is. Shout out to Trade the Pool. Great. I hope they bring Mitch back, man.
Mitch.
Shout out to Mitch. Shout out to Money Mitch.
Yeah, Chef Joe. Okay, that's for Chef Joe. But yeah, here we go, guys. I know Katina Man's long, so maybe I got to think about what's going on. Again, just the options chain saying we might have some resistance, and it's not standout-ish open interest at those levels. Pardon me?
I was just saying, like, I'm long from an hour ago.
Yeah. He's long. Yeah, exactly. So, but again, the options chain is telling us we can break through 480. It's not anything crazy from an options standpoint. I do believe that Nvidia is going to continue to struggle at these levels, considering there is also a continuous ladder to the top side of on that open interest indicator. So yeah, we'll be patient. I like Google still climbing higher and higher. And I know you went over SRPTA. Someone in the chat asked me to do that. There is a catalyst on that. But yeah, NVDA getting really, really stuck here, guys. These levels are not dwindling. And the thing is, though, is you got to look at the balance on both sides of the chain. And you can see that built all the way through the ladder. So you'll see 104,000, 117, 114, all the way down from 126 to 124. And then you'll see it roughly on the put side as well. But then you see the higher balance at 118 with 102 and then 50K thousand. So yeah, that is the look. We did see, guys, this is what I was looking for. Was this retest of up here, and then I only had to risk about about 20 cents or so. But we're now a little bit south of that, so I got to be a little bit more patient. If we come back into this support level here and reject it, then that's when I'll look to sell this top here, and then maybe we can get a crack of 6160 because that's the game plan. And again, yeah, just rejecting 480. And then also I mentioned 565 and 570 on the SPY, which we're currently rejecting as well too. So yeah, going to be patient on that front trade. We're starting to pull back here now. Going to look for the short on TQs.
Yes, sir. Okay, just throwing in my stops. All right, guys, here's what happened. We got stopped out, sadly, of ADTX. It was a big move down. It looked like a specialist breakdown where they kind of push it below VWAP and then gets bought right back up. So I had my stop right below the volume-weighted average price. It's looking to reclaim it right now. So I'm kind of unsure whether this is actually breaking down or whether this was a specialist breakout. So here's the deal. I'm not going to guess anymore. The level that I like is that 1060 level. Oh, wow, are you kidding me? Okay, so that was definitely a specialist breakdown because it's taking out the level as we speak. It's a monster hammer candle right now that takes it right below VWAP and then right back above. It's all good. We printed on this one, so I executed on this one well. We got stopped out for the last remaining out on that bad boy. So a little disappointed with the execution, but it's impossible to know when it's going to be a specialist breakdown and when it's not. So that is the look there. Wow, I can't believe I got forced out of CSAI again. Wow, okay, so that one I'm 0 for 3 on, and that is being removed from the list. I can't keep trading it like that. I mean, it's just crazy if I do that. So I'm trying to find something else to put on. Let's put on Hood. Everybody's talking about Hood. have a look at Hood and see what it's up to. I just want that one out of my sight and out of my way so that I don't want to trade it, so I don't get the inclination to trade it. We're going to take it off of the side chart too, Joseph, because, well, it could get the itch if that happens. All right, back into XHLD, looking to defend 108. I've added into my position right now. We're about 4 pennies out of the money, showing me 11s. I'm long 15s, excuse me. So we'll have to hold up here. So what I'm basically doing, putting my stop below that 104, looking for that 108 to 106 area to hold. This zigged and zagged, technically kind of still respecting the 10 exponential, but I am concerned about that double top formation on XHLD. Let's have a look at the overall market. Haven't said much at all, if at all, much if anything at all, about these large cap names. So let's go ahead and look at the Mag 7 and see what is afoot right now. Wow, Meta's the only negative Mag 7 name on the day.
Wow.
But it's the only one that's negative, but it's also the only one that's barely negative on the year. Meta's technically only down on the year 0.88. Everything else, except for softies, in double-digit territory. 14% for the dead one Apple, 14% for Google, 12% give or take for Amazon, 42% for Tesla, and 12%, 12 and change for Nvidia. So Meta, even though it's ugly on the day, and it's been ugly recently, it's certainly been outperforming some of these other ones over here. So META, very consolidative, and definitely looking to reject off the volume-weighted average price. The only time you really broke above VWAP was at power hour 10 a.m. range, and then we kind of just started straddling VWAP as resistance. Let's talk about Softy. Softy's putting in a gnarly-looking double top over here. Wow, that's a perfectly equidistant here it is, Katina, man. On that 388, essentially top, with the neckline hanging around that 385.5 area. Keep your eye out on Softy here. Softy's been stronger lately, as I mentioned. The only one that's actually single digits negative on the year. Looks like there is a seller at 388. Keep your eye out for that higher low, though. You could get a bit of a bounce here at 386 and a third, 386 and a half. That's where the volume-weighted average price is on the soft one. Goggles looking real good over here, up and to the dang right. Higher lows, higher highs. This looks like an upward channel here on Google. Google got shellacked yesterday. Look at that downward move. I hate this. I hate how the downward moves are this aggressive and then the upward moves take forever to manifest. We always joke about that on the show here. We say it takes the elevator down and the escalator up. Kind of would rather that not happen, but there's obviously psychological reasons why that does happen. In any event, on the day, Google is an upward channel, or at least that's what I perceive. So we'll keep an eye out on that. Google could be an interesting trade here. Amazon finding support. I don't know, man. There's a bit of resistance here on the Zon, 194 and a quarter, 194 and a third. It looks like a bit of a compression pattern whip into my head. The reason I say that is because you got higher lows, but you also got lower highs. If I had to choose, I'd say probably a break to the high side based on the fact that the market's up 1% and that the higher lows are more aggressive than the lower highs. So we'll see how the cookie crumbles there for Amazon. Apple was very strong earlier. It has lost all that and then some. In fact, look at that big boy move up. I perceive this to be buying at the open by big money, market on open orders. That's typically where you see a lot of the liquidity. And then the shorts get involved and push this bad boy right back down. It seems like it has 215 support. Neil did earmark that level earlier on. I remember him saying 215. But essentially what we have now is a lower high and a flat bottom. So Apple could absolutely flat bottom break, and it could find itself right at that pre-market low at around 213 and a half. If it gives up the ghost at that 215 level, it looks weak right now, even though it's up on the day. So that's my look on Apple. Let's look at Tesla. I'm gonna leave that one for Joseph because he's been trading this one well to no end all day, but I perceive there to be possibly 234 support given the triple top that we had on Tesla at Google, and you saw Joseph take that flat top breakout in real time. Let's see what it does when it comes back in, or if it comes back in to that 234, does it find a buyer? Nvidia. This one kind of similar to Google in the sense that it has that higher low and kind of higher high upward channel, not as distinctly upward channel-ish as Google is, but you can kind of really notice that the higher lows here far exceed the higher highs. So it's kind of like almost a flat top break, so to speak, through 118 here feels like on Nvidia. Don't forget, Quantum Day tomorrow for Nvidia. Obviously, Uber and Netflix are not the Mag 7, but I include them because, well, they're important to me. Uber looks fantastic. Uber looks better than most of these bad boys every day, okay? Uber, I perceive this, Joseph, as a bull flag. You got that drop down initially in the open. We dropped down to about 70 3/4. We rocket back up above 72 and a fifth. We have that consolidation sideways, the flag component of the bull flag. That's the pole, and then that's the flag. And then look at this. Boom! Big boy breakout. We could be on our second bull flag here. We'll see on Uber. Last but not least, Joseph, NFLX. This is also kind of bull flagging. Great, fantastic look there off that 9 1/4. And then we weasel on up into about 9 2/3, a little bit less. Look out for that 950 area. That could be the volume weighted average price pullback that people could want on NFLX, 950.90 right now, the volume weighted average price, Joseph.
Yeah, good luck there, guys. Yeah, yeah, Jordan, I guess, like, I don't even remember what I replied to, but anyways, yeah, it's unfortunate, guys. I posted up here above 61.80, and then I never caught the fill. It just didn't go there, and then now it's kind of doing the move that I was looking for. So I wanted to catch the top of this range, because you can see this is support right here, and then now acting as resistance, right? So you get that that under-over type play, and then now we're starting to head into my target area. So I think that we can run into 61.49. Gonna look for a potential bounce here. NVDA has the inability to break through 118. I'm not gonna say it again, but you know what we're talking about? I probably will, but I'll wait before I repeat myself. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. Hello, SBP chart. I hope you guys are doing great. No, I hope you're doing great. I thought you were having a question there. Hopefully your day is going pretty well. Nice coming back into this range. If we can construct a lower high, that'll be a positive sign here. So you can see that we're just going to draw this temporary downtrend, and we are continuously holding that. So until we break through that, then I would suspect that we're going to continue downward movement. Now we'll pull back to NVDA one more time here, guys, because of the activity on the options chain. Apologize for all these dark pools, but we're trading at 117, and we just can't crack 118. Double top here, so that's what we want to keep an eye out for. Look for those high levels, those pop-out-ish styles on the options chain, and then you'll be able to play it off of those levels, okay? So yeah, we'll go back to TSLA. I did want to play the short, but unfortunately I didn't get it on the options chain. Again, I'll repeat myself, is that we did have high levels around that 240, and we couldn't crack there. We were just under that. 238 was almost the level. We were at 237, we'll call it, and then we couldn't climb any higher. So that's that trade. Being a little bit more patient on some of these setups, because you guys seen that was my rules for the day. Yeah, so just gonna wait. If we can hold here, the thing is though, with this VWAP trade here, guys, I don't believe that Tesla's a strong enough underlying asset in order for us to play these VWAP bounces. You can see that it took multiple attempts to even crack through it and then break through a high here. So if you got in at VWAP right here, then you get a little bit of a move, but there would be something that I would be looking for in and around here, so you can increase that risk to reward and have a definitive out slightly better. So that's something that I'm working on. Same thing goes over here, but then it actually worked. At the third time's a charm. We do crack through, and then we continue to climb to the top side. So yeah, Google's strong. We got those daily signals, guys. That's what we want to look out for. I talk about it time and time again, and that's what I'm going to do this weekend for you guys. I'm going to refine the VPA lesson, and we're going to get into some new, we're going to just have some new updated charts and just kind of graphs on what we're specifically looking for. And this is a pretty good example here, all right? So just keep that in mind. I remember I was trading, where's the signal? Yeah, so I had some bear calls up here as well too, which worked out. They expired. I collected the majority of the premium, but we had a nice, this was earnings. I remember it like it was yesterday. So earnings, nice gap up here, and then you play the bear call using this high as your out on the options chain, and then eventually we just could fill the most of this gap here, and then we continue to climb higher. And then this was Amazon. This was actually one of my better writing options trades. So I seen this base here, and then this was probably the most when I put on, I think I put on like 9 or 10 short contracts, which is hefty. So I had about just under 1,000, potential 1,000 shares here on Amazon at the bottom here. So a bull bull put spread. So that's me shorting puts. And then that's when we just continued to climb. And then by day 3 or 4, I had the majority of the premium collected. And then I just closed the position. So yeah, that was one of my larger ones. And then I did have some good stuff on SPY. I was rolling on SPY for some time. Same thing here, guys, was just rolling some bull calls. Some bull puts. And then you just collect premium without even owning the underlying asset throughout the whole duration of the contracts. And that's kind of what we had going on. So yeah, that's just my style of trading. And trust me, I told you guys before in the summertime, and it was around these neck of the woods where I had some short Tesla puts. So I had a bull put spread. And then me thinking I'm smarter than the market, I'm like, oh, okay, we're trading within this range. Let me put up a condor. I don't remember the specific date. So I'm like, yeah, let me put up an iron condor here so now I can just profit if the underlying asset closes within the range. But then I got squeezed out, and what I did was I closed my short calls, but I left my out the money calls open, which were about 5 points higher because I had a 5-point spread. And I'm like, oh, okay, if we're gonna squeeze like this, maybe my out the money calls were gonna trade in the money, and then I can reduce the loss. But what ended up happening is that those contracts ended up decaying from time value and expiring worthless. So that's when I took that $2,000 loss on that short, on that bear call spread, which was not pretty. And if you guys have ever done one of these, that was one of those moments for me. So yeah, just full disclosure, I took that 2K hit, which was really hefty. So that was a lot of gains gone, especially when you're writing options, you don't collect that much. And always keep in mind, and I don't think I say this enough here, Sharif, is that when you're writing options, you will collect premium, but stock appreciation will always outweigh premium collection. Just always keep that in mind. It didn't take me long to learn that, but again, it won't equal it ever, right? So you're always better off having stock appreciation than you are collecting premium in the short term, all right? So yeah, that's just how it works out. Don't get caught in any short calls like I did, and then don't close short calls and leave the long call open, especially if it doesn't end to your target, because that's how you're gonna really cover back your loss, is because you're now gonna sell that out the money call, and if you don't, it just expires worthless.
That's some wisdom right there, man. Thanks for sharing that, obviously. Because remember when we went to that the money show, that dude was talking about what's it called?
The options wheel.
The options wheel. Thank you. And he kept DCAing. What was that stock he was trading? Do you remember?
It was Walgreens.
It
No, it was Walgreens.
WBA.
Yeah, it was
well,
Walgreens.
how's he doing now?
I don't know, man. I was like, I just found it.
It's getting bought out, Katina.
Yeah, so he was running that cycle. He was just continuously selling it. But the way he was running it was slightly different. Obviously, everybody has their own styles, and you inject your own DNA to it. But it just didn't make sense. Like, why are you DCing into Walgreens Boots Alliance?
Yeah, I didn't really get that either. And like, he didn't really have a strategy other than he kept DCAing, even though it broke his support. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he was just collecting premiums, losing capital appreciation, capital depreciation.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
So it just didn't really work out. So yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, not a strategy I'm quite familiar with, so I'm defer to Joseph on that. XHLD, guys, we did okay with this one. We're doing, I guess, okay. What the beak there at 20s. Now I'm waiting at 24s, 28s, and 32s. Looking for that big boy break. Let's see. We've kind of been rejecting the previous candle high. The previous candle high on the 5-minute, of course, is, I believe, $1.23. And keep rejecting that area, but we are putting in higher highs and higher lows. So it's not like I'm going to move up my stop or anything like that. In fact, I will look to defend this stock. So it's a #1 gapper right now in the market. XHLDs are what I'm talking about. It may not be ideal for me to just want to punch in or to take profits at these higher levels, but I'm going to continue to pack my patience. I saw you guys yelling about ADTX, and I had my suspicions about this. Once you've kind of, what the hell is happening over here? Why is this doing that? All right, allow me a minute just to kind of set my setup. So anyway, ADTX, it looked like it was going to break out. It broke the previous area high, which was 1060, right? We kind of saw that. That's where I was holding for the break. I was waiting for that 1070 print. We didn't get it. Ended up breaking below VWAP, specialist breakdown, only to kind of break out the area high. But the bamboozlement wasn't just to the downside. The bamboozlement is, it doesn't discriminate. It will bamboozle you to the high side, bamboozle you to the downside. And if it could, it bamboozle you sideways as well. Here's what I mean by that. Look at this. So we break down below VWAP, an area where we had been very respectful literally all morning. It breaks down. It doesn't even stay below that for 1 second. Stops everybody out, right? Shoots up. So now the shorts are like, oh, fantastic. It's time to get short up here. Let's use this 1060 area high as our stop. Well, guess what it did? It went to 1080. So once I feel like these small cap gappers, once the momentum is gone from them, you can kind of try to scalp at area highs and lows, but that's it. You can't hang out in it too long, otherwise the algos get you, and this is what it's doing right now. Zigging and zagging above previous area highs, previous area lows, and then, you know, basically taking everybody's money in between. So be careful with ADTX. I don't like it unless it gets above 11. That $11 area, that's where I perceive there to be the next area of resistance. So ADTX is on my crap list until and if it can get above 11. But I do like that area, so I will put an alert for the approach into $11 on ADTX. It's up 32%. It was a monster mover in the morning, multiple halts, this, that, and the other. And then now we've found ourselves in a bit of a consolidation range, albeit above VWAP. So as long as it stays above VWAP, it could have a second wind. Momentum is a second wind momentum-wise, I mean, into power hours. So don't be so quick to take it off your side charts. I'm leaving it on. That is the case there. Now, back to XHLD, the only trade that I've got on. Back into 119s we go, but we're still doing that same dance that I complained about 5 minutes ago, which is below prior area high, prior bar high, I should say, which is a $1.23. I've set up at the very smart area of 124. I say that facetiously, of course. I'm looking to front run the $0.25 in case it acts as resistance. And I'm layering my orders above that level. So that's the only one I've got on right now, XHLD. And if your case you're following this trade, here are the details on XHLD as it comes right back down, then pops right back up. It is a $31 million market cap. Its name is 10 Holdings. I don't know anything about the company, but what it does, I'm not given any information. I don't have any information with respect to flow. Let's find out what Trade Ideas has to say about that. XHLD. 1.67 million share float, says Trade Ideas, but no short float, sadly, on this bad boy. So I won't be able to tell you, what to expect in terms of a short squeeze. Got no info on that. If you guys have the short float, by the way, on XHLD, please tag me and let me know. I do appreciate that. So that's my look right now. Not much else going on in my world. Wow, Apple lost 215, guys. So the sell-off continues on the dead one, Apple. As I mentioned, this one does look like it could end up at that pre-market high, 213.50. I'm thinking, especially now that we've given up the ghost at that level, the only thing really left is this 214.5. Otherwise, I think we likely, I should say, retrace into that pre-market high on the dead one, Apple. Mark, would I be able to get your thoughts on Meta? Of course, I kind of gave my thoughts on Meta not that long ago, but I'll do it again, man. Look, it's so easy to say, oh, Meta is crap. It's the only Mag 7 name that's actually negative on the year. It's almost $200 off the top. It was $740 a few weeks ago. Now it's barely holding on to $575. All that said, it's only down 1.25% on the year, and it was less than that when I mentioned it last. It was 0.88. Everything else except Microsoft, double-digit territory in the red year to date. So Meta is outperforming, relatively speaking. On the day, there's nothing to like about Meta as a long. It's a short. VWAP was a very attractive area. Looks like midday here, right around noon. It works its way back into VWAP. It doesn't even print anything above that. So if you were waiting just with a resting order at that volume weighted average price, you got filled and you did quite well. What's up?
Sorry, no, continue.
Yeah. You did quite well. 582, 583, you could have got printed. Now you're talking about 577. So Meta is a sell kind of until further notice. Look, I'm hearing things that whether you believe them or not is kind of up to you. I'm hearing that there's nothing fundamentally wrong with the company, that it's the macroeconomic situation that has everybody selling Meta, worried that, digital ad sale money might dry up. I've mentioned this before and I'll mention it again. A friend of mine, he works in digital ad sales. He's been doing it for 10 years. and they have a big account with Meta. They only advertise with Meta. They don't do Snapchat. They don't do Google. They're almost always just in Meta. So what that means to you could be, you know, it might mean something to you, might not. He gives me information about how Meta is treating their ads. I know we got to do the ad. I just want to finish my thought here. So everybody who's in digital ad sales knows about white hat, black hat, gray hat, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to go into it at the moment. But the point is, when Meta's revenues decline, they seem to be much more lenient with the type of campaigns that they allow on their platform. And right now, they're allowing lenient campaigns, so he tells me. What does that mean? That means they're probably forecasting some downturn. That's just my thought. Joseph, who we paying bills for?
Oh, Nevada Canyon Gold, guys. Let's take a look here. Gold prices are inching closer to $3,000 an ounce. Looking to hedge against the chaos? Meet NGLD, your defensive gold exposure without the headaches of physical ownership. Using a low-cost royalty model, NGLD avoids costly mining operations, delivering stronger profit potential even as inflation rises. Focused on Nevada's rich and stable gold fields, we sidestep overseas risk, and by bundling smaller royalties for premium sales, we create clear shareholder value. Secure your portfolio with NGLD, your strategic gold investment for uncertain times, guys. NGLD.
I like
Scan the
it.
QR code right there.
Man, where's gold at?
Yeah.
Now that you've kind of...
I like gold, man. I like gold.
I like gold, yes. Favorite. Let's have a look at the gold contract, bro. GC, let's go ahead and look at the gold contract. What's, sorry. GC, no, that's SGC, that's why it didn't come up. So GC is the gold contract, there it is, futures. I think we're on the April contract, are we not? Yes, we are on the April contract. Who's doing more volume though? The April contract is, okay. We can look at the continuous contract, how about that? We don't have to guess. Let's go to the daily, because I follow Peter Schiff on X, and all he does lately is troll Bitcoin bulls and just wax esoteric about how good gold is. And guys, the bubble's been popped. It's time for you to switch over to gold. He was saying all this, by the way, even though Bitcoin was at all-time highs. He didn't change. So fantastic look there. In any event, it's beautiful for gold lately. Above $3,000, Joseph. 30.52 all-time highs. Candle of indecision today. But if we take from the what day did we start this week? What was the start of the week? 14? 13? No, what day was it? 17. So from the 17th to the high of today, yeah, up another 2%, give or take on the week. Not a bad look. If you're looking from the end of February onwards, when we really got going, we're up 7.5% on gold. So that's the futures contract, obviously. So gold, not a bad look. That's a beautiful looking chart, though, man. There's really not a whole lot to complain about that. My old man hates gold.
What?
So he got into gold at the during the financial crisis, and he had to wait almost 12 years just to make his money back on that. Yeah, he literally bought it 1800, and it didn't hit 1800 again, I think, until like maybe 23 or something like that.
I can see his dislike for it.
Yeah. Oh, he hates gold. Not that. You know, he hates gold.
Yeah,
but he hates gold as an investment.
Yeah, investment there.
No. Shout out to my old man. That's the other part of that is my other buddy loves gold because he inherited my buddy Alfred. I've always talked about my buddy Alfred. Inherited gold from his old man.
Oh, yeah?
Sold all of it.
No.
Bought Tesla in 2019, and the rest is history.
I love
right?
gold too, baby.
Right? So everybody feels a little bit differently depending on what happens.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I told you, man, my relationship.
Yeah, you got free gold, the asshole, but whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Vivid asked about, sorry guys, I'm really hyper-focused right now. I want to see if we can catch this short, but the reason why I got out of this trade is because I said in the chat, I'm like, Nvidia might gamma. And Vivid Distortion is like, hey Joe, what does that mean? And what I'm referring to is gamma squeeze. So that means when we have a bunch of out-the-money options that are starting to trade closer to at-the-money, you're going to see the accelerated, and this is what I was referring to yesterday with Jose is that so gamma is delta's delta, so it's essentially the rate of change of the rate of change, kind of how inflation is the rate of change of goods and whatever. I'm not going to get into the macro, but so what happens is when the rate of change really starts to accelerate, you get that gamma squeeze type effect. And then when that can happen is when you have high levels of open interest at out the money strike prices and the underlying asset starts to trade towards those, increasing the rate of change of the delta, and then that's when you can get that gamma squeeze effect in the market. So that's what I refer to when I said, hey, NVDA might gamma, because if it pushes through 118, we talked about the open interest at that level, you're going to see the volume really start to pick up, and this is exactly what you're seeing right now here, guys, live. If we push through 118, this thing can absolutely really start moving. So you got to keep an eye out for that. Those OI contracts are not shrinking. So if that volume continues to pick up like it is here on the lower time frames, watch out, because it can really start squeezing here. Why? Because everybody needs to start covering their positions, buying back the shorts, and then now that's when you get that accelerated movement. We are rejecting 118, but the volume is also really starting to pick up here on the lower time frames. If we go through 118 and hold this, then that we have a ladder all the way from 122 to 126 roughly. But again, you might run into some headwinds there at that 124. 122, because that is where the next highest level of open interest is. And you can see that we're rejecting this, so the options market isn't quite panicking just yet, but you can see it really start to engulf, and you see the strength within the time of sales right here. I'm going to play this high day break.
Get it, Joseph.
Let's go. Let's go. And then we're starting to squeeze here. Let's go, man. This is what I'm talking about. I'm kind of in at the high day. Yeah. I'm kind of in at the high day, which isn't too good of a look. But if we can continue this cover rally, I think we'll be okay. So yeah, that's a look. Nice, strong time of sales right here.
Yes, Nvidia, Joseph, and the advanced money destroyer are kind of moving together. I was just yelling to the Katina man that AMD went into the high day there. So let's have a look. That's a weekly. Don't look at the weekly. You won't want to buy it. What a recovery today on the advanced money destroyer. Kind of double tops into that 104 1/3, tanks, loses everything all the way down into 101.96, barely holds on to that level, 102 essentially, and then it has been up and to the dang right since that time, 105.50 in focus. Look at that candle taking the flat top break through 105 on volume too. That volume bar stands out from its predecessor. So good look, 105.51. AMD is on one right now. So is Nvidia. It is literally at the day's high. 118.16 is the day high on Nvidia. So chips are catching a bid. How's SPCE doing? SMCI just weaseled into the volume weighted average price, kind of a double top there. We're still getting lower highs on SMCI. Let's see if it's able to participate in this latest pump on these microchips. ARM, which had a couple of negative catalysts, well, not from just today, from yesterday, because Nvidia said that they were doing away with some of these ARM processors on their latest advanced AI chips in exchange for their own homegrown CPUs. Never heard of Nvidia making CPUs? Now you have. They don't only just make GPUs. So ARM sells off aggressively into the open, sold off aggressively yesterday, probably on that news, and is putting in lower highs with that flat bottom in and around the volume weighted average price. So it's not really participating all that much in this little move up. So it does feel like the story is confined to an AMD Nvidia type thing, maybe with SMCI. Let's have a look at Broadcom, AVGO. What's this one up to? Okay, so this one was already strong. So Broadcom is doing its own thing, 25 at the moment. Big bull flag after that 11 o'clock pop. I don't know what the hell news item came in at 11 o'clock, but wow, Broadcom caught a bid at 11 o'clock, not seeing anything to account for that move up, except this AVGO price spike right at 11 o'clock. It came in fact, 11:13. So I'm not really sure what's going on with Broadcom, AVGO, big bull flag, 193.30 currently right now. Broadcom is what I'm talking about, guys. All right, back into XHLD. This one did pop up again. This one feels very flat top breakish on XHLD. We've got umpteen amount of higher lows. I've been trying to add on the dips. The seller is around 122, 123. I've accounted kind of for these higher lows by trying to build the position. I'm gonna look to get more in at 112. Let's throw that bad boy on there so we can catch a possible move down. But this is what I perceive here on XHLD. It's been a good name all day. It's got higher highs, higher lows. What I see this time is kind of this ascending wedge where we're essentially getting higher lows, but being kept down by that same seller, keeping us down below $123. There have been times where we were able to move that seller out of the way. That was at 12.05 and 12.10, but as you can see, it was quite fleeting because we only wicked up there and then made our way right back down. This one, for the moment, is respecting previous areas of resistance as new areas of support. What do I mean by that, in case you're a newer trader? Well, look how we were rejecting at this 108 level, essentially, basically all morning since we gave it up at 10:45. We started using 108 as resistance. We curl below VWAP. We zoom past 108. Lo and behold, when we come back to that $132, we drop back down. Look where we're bottoming out. Yes, exactly, that 108 level again. So it feels as if this one is respecting areas of support and resistance in a way that maybe some of these other small cap gappers are not. That is not a story that will continue forever and ever more. There will be a breakdown of this name. Almost always, these small cap gappers, if they don't give it up the same day, they'll give it up the next day. If it's not the next day, it's the day after that. That is kind of the nature of the beast with these small cap gappers. That's why I always try to stress, don't fall in love with the story. It's a technical trade, no more than that. So that's all I'm looking at right now. There was a trade on Lucid. I mean, you could have had a VWAP trade here and, traded it kind of like a buyout by punching in 10,000 shares at, whatever price here, 247, getting some out at 251, 250. That's how you trade buyouts. You get in a whole bunch of shares at one level and then try to look for the move up a couple of shekels to the high side or the low side, depending on how you are trading it. So it feels as if that this is a bit of a holding pattern on Lucid at VWAP. We saw this story before. We saw it yesterday. I ended up going red on Lucid because of that story, where I was trying to get it on VWAP and it was not having me. So that is the situation. I'll send those off to him right now, Joseph, if you want to take over.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. See, that's the thing, guys. I was just saying to somebody in the chat, there's too much options activity going on in NVDA. I thought we were going to get that squeeze. Unfortunately, we did not. As we punched through the high day, we never got that continuation, which is unfortunate. That's okay. I only gave it about 10, 20 cents risk there, and I'm glad to get out. There's just too much options activity. We're kind of pinning in price action here because you can see the balance on both the put and the call side. So we're not squeezing there, so relatively balanced. I thought we were going to kind of go gamma there, guys, which would have been pretty cool to see it live and then just continuing to climb the ladder. But we'll catch one eventually, maybe right now. But the tape does seem relatively strong. But the thing is, though, we're starting to construct these lower highs, which we need to take into consideration here on this 1 minute time frame, even though it is only, there you go, and now you're starting to punch through them. But yeah, I wasn't going to hold on to this. I don't really love this name right now, but yeah, let's see what happens if we can break through 118. I just don't think we're going to today, but I could also be totally wrong. And if I am, then that's okay. But yeah, this is a name I'm also going to get into the long term. I know Kramer says own it, don't trade it, kind of just like Apple, and I kind of like that. But it is. How
do you feel about Kramer? Because I hear you say something. I don't mean to put you on the spot, because we all know most people how they feel about Kramer. But you watch.
I watch all the time, right?
All the time.
Yeah, every
so
night.
You're a daily viewer.
In the evening time. Yeah.
What's your opinion of his analysis of the market? Like, we all know the jokes, right? The inverse Kramer retail. Like, we all know the jokes. But yeah, genuinely, what do you feel?
I mean, man, the guy's been doing it for how long now? Who am I to really criticize?
Yeah.
But how do I feel?
Aside from that.
Yeah. I think he'll tell you if a stock is good or if it's not. I mean, it's slightly, I guess maybe it's opinionated at that point, subjective. But, I mean, yeah, he understands the fundamentals of companies and good companies, so that I highly respect him for.
Do you think he's a better investor than trader?
I don't think he's even allowed to invest.
No, I know.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
But for the, what's it called?
The travel trust.
Just let's tell everybody what it means. So CNBC employees apparently can only own ETFs.
Yeah.
They can't own actual individual stocks. That's what Joseph means. Go ahead.
Yeah. The Travel Trust, I mean, he has a lot of good names in it, right? But that's the thing about trading.
That's what we were talking about. We're talking about that right now. Yeah, but it's for charity, Katina, man.
Yeah.
Because the investing club, apparently all the
Exactly.
proceeds go to charity. Whether you believe that or not, entirely different story. That's
Well,
what he's saying.
Can
yeah.
you open up your own charity and then just be like, hey, we're going to donate?
Oh, who are you, Sam Altman?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Try to start as a charity and then turn into a for-profit?
Exactly. But yeah, just to finish that thought, I think he's good fundamentally. Again, he's not going to be right on everything. We're not going to be right on everything. But it's kind of like trading in general. You only need that one call out to really change the dynamics of your portfolio. And he's been harping Nvidia for a long period of time. And sure enough, he got that win, right?
To be fair.
And to be fair, it's like, okay, he has a lot of losers, and he has a lot of winners as well too. And I think it's just part of the environment that we are in from a day-to-day standpoint.
Yeah, and like to be fair, like you and I judge him, on a daily basis,
Yeah.
weekly basis. He mentions something on Mad Money, the next day it's red 3-4%.
Yeah, exactly,
So that's
right?
a very
So-
microscopic view of the bigger picture. To be fair, correct? Yeah.
But I like his fundamental understanding of the companies from my perspective anyways. As a viewer, he'll be like, hey, no, we don't like the fundamentals, or they have good CEOs, et cetera, whatever it may be. Yeah, he points that out fairly well. So maybe he'll call in one day. I'm curious if he ever takes a call on the lightning round and be like, hey, Kramer, I got this stock.
Hey, booyah!
Yeah, it has a 700% increase in crypto transactions year over year. The ticker is HOOD.
You love how they always set up by giving him the layout, but they won't give him the ticker, so they don't cut him off.
Yeah,
They
at
usually
the end,
cut off
right?
the viewer
So it's like
or the
ticker
caller,
is
right?
HOOD. So
All
yeah,
right.
maybe I'll do that one time.
I gotta agree with everything you just said there, brother. I think I kind of feel the same way. Shout out to Cobra, my man. My man Cobra is printing on XHLD, and so are we. We just got that flat top break through that 123, filled at 124, filled at 129, and now we're waiting at 132. This is a story of higher lows and a flat top. We see it a lot with these small cap gappers. My only sad part about this is I didn't get my dip trades. I had 12s and I had 9s. Neither of which filled. So we're on our last leg here, and what I mean by that is we only got one more beak wetter on this bad boy, and we're gonna wait at $1.32. In fact, I don't even like that. I'm taking it off. We're gonna let this one cook, man, and we're gonna wait at, I don't know, 142. Why not, right? What is happening?
Bro, there it just went. It's done. It's over. It's squeezing now.
Nvidia?
Yeah, Nvidia. It just cracked through 118 large.
Stock was too tight, man. You had like what, a 15 cent?
The Katina man's saying his stop was too tight. I mean, it's the nature of the beast, bro. I always end up dealing with that same issue. My stop too tight, my stop's too loose. It's never ending. But yeah,
it punched through and then it came back. Yeah, it's pinning. It's pinning right now, guys. There's too much OI. The market's going down. This is where we can get those punch throughs, and then we just kind of trade back within that range. It's just liquidity grabbing any shorts who are shorting at the lows and then just continuing to the downside. But Sharif.
Yes, sir.
BVB always make sure to remind me it is 1 o'clock. You know what time
I like
that is,
it. All right, man. Here we go.
We're going long here? Oh, okay. I like it. We're going long.
We're doing it live.
Yeah. Let's go.
All right.
Talk to me.
Ready to go?
Ready to go.
564.46.
64.46.
So we'll take profits at 566.46.
566.46.
And then we'll get stopped out 563.46.
563.46.
So shout out to the Playmaker poll, baby. How are we doing on that P&L?
Yeah, we're not going to talk about the P&L right now.
Hold on, are we in the money?
Yeah, we're still positive.
Okay,
We're highly
that's all that
positive.
matters.
Yeah. We've hit a lot of 2-to-1s recently. I got to update the cumulative, and that's what I'm going to do this evening, I promise. But you can see that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 2-to-1s hit there, and only 1, 2, 3 full losses. So there you go. That's the 2-to-1 there, and I'm going to update the cumulative P&L for us there as well, too.
All
so
right,
you can see
still
that.
keeping my eye on XHLD, guys, as we get back near those highs. So it's kind of hard to see where the real sellers are at now. Obviously, we're rejecting in the high 20s, but we did just weasel up to 30. We rejected 30s. Prior to that, we got up into $1.32. Let's see what we do here. Here we go again. So let's have a look now. Now, as we get closer to those areas of resistance, we can see where the sellers are posted, whether they're hidden or whether they're actually showing their entire position, what gateway they're posting on, and basically how much size is actually hanging out there. Now, here's the deal. I'm going to try to add into this position like a psycho. I'm going to wait over here at $1.18. Yeah, I'm going to wait at $1.18. Let's see if I... Thank you, Adira. She chimes in.
That was a good one. That was a really good one.
By the way, it's going to be a special FOMC coverage. Myself and the OG Adira are going to be at the big boy desk. We're going to be covering the FOMC. We'll see if Jerome Powell throws us any curveballs. Very excited for that. They said it wouldn't happen again. They lied. We're back at the big desk together. So here we go. We're waiting at 118 now, XHLD, to add a little bit more since we only have one beak wetter. And I'm going to still hold on. Actually, these ones are irrelevant now. I'm going to take them off, Joseph. So that one at 112 is Gonzino. That one at 109 also Gonzino. Now we're going to have to wait to see if we get that 118 fill or we print to the high side. I'm talking about XHLD, guys. It's literally the only small cap gapper in the market right now that's actually tradable under my system. I'm not saying that you can't make money on other ones. That's not what I'm saying at all. But all the other small cap gappers that I've been watching on the day and that are showing up on my scanner are all losing the volume weighted average price. So if you're below VWAP, I just won't trade you as a small cap gapper. So XHLD is where I'll focus my attention until and if another one appears on the scene that is tradable. BOWN was one we were looking at very thoroughly today. It was the #1 gapper initially there when it was around $9 ahead of XHLD. It's given up the ghost though, below the volume weighted average price, trying to hold 7s. But as you can see on the volume bars there in the bottom right corner of your screen, the volume's dropped off a cliff. So that ain't a glowing endorsement for these small cap gappers. ADTX as well was another very interesting name, a decent name, a holdover from yesterday, because this bad boy was running in yesterday's market as well. Today it is a second day play, losing the volume weighted average price, and by extension of that, losing the $10 level, printing 9 2/3 right now. I've put an alert at $11. If this one wants to clear $11, then we can have a discussion about trading it again, but I just won't trade it until and if it gets above that level. Let's have a look at the large caps. It is very much the chip story right now. It is the Nvidia story. You can see that upward channel on NVDA bottom right of your screen. I mean, the Meta tanking, bro. Meta, my God, the weakness on Meta is relentless, man. Do you think we break yesterday's low? Look at this. We're at 577.20. Yesterday's low, essentially 575. You think we lose 575 today?
Maybe.
This thing's hugging the 10 exponential. Like, this is an ugly look for Meta, man. Very undeserved for this company. This company is going to be something, bro. I mean, if it already is, but we're talking about that new form factor for smart computing on the glasses. Oh, yeah. They're leading the charge. This company is great. And the fact that it's getting crapped on like that right now is... It's a product of the market. I don't have any investments in Meta, by the way, guys.
What's it down off its all-time high?
Oh, it's down aggressively, Joseph. It was 740 high like a few weeks ago. Now we're talking about 576 low a day.
Whoa.
Yeah, percentage-wise. Yeah, it's ugly, bro. It's real ugly.
Why?
What are we at percentage-wise?
22%.
22%. I mean, 10% is a correction, right?
Yeah.
And then what's 20?
You're getting into like bear market territory.
Bear territory,
yeah, it's bear. That's what I'm saying. It's bear territory.
Bear territory.
Right, 30%. Most definitely bear territory.
Don't mind us, Neil.
Yeah, don't mind us, man.
Abhishek Desai. Every time I see that name, Abhishek, I remember high school. Wasn't a good look for that guy. What's wrong with Amazon? Any news? Sharif, Adira. Let's have a look. I didn't particularly see a news catalyst today on the Zon. Let's have a look right now. Looking. There's really nothing Amazon specific. Looking, there's some other stuff here, some unusual options, ETF stuff. I don't know if Adira's got anything up there about Amazon. I don't see anything about Amazon. Nothing, Adira, huh? Amazon robotaxi unit Zoosk recalls 258 vehicles over unexpected breaking issue. I see that. That's not really a market mover, to be quite honest with you. Amazon wasn't really known for their autonomous driving, but it's repeating over and over. So maybe it's this Zooks division of the Zon, which is autonomous driving. We'll see if that plays any part here, Joseph. I'm grasping at straws right now, to be quite honest with you. I don't really see a catalyst.
Yeah, I don't see anything going on right now, too. And that's why I said I'm not going to be trading Nvidia anymore. I took a little stab and then this did work, but again, 0 for 3 here, or I guess this was a break-even trade, but we lost 1-2. Just this price action is not very orderly, right? You get these nice moves overlapping down, nice move up, right? So if you're going to the long side, it's working, but these pullbacks in this name are so deep, they respect resistance levels, but then you just go up. For me, the mental capital expenditure is just not worth it. So I'm going to be avoiding this one, especially with what we got going on here on the options chain. But yeah, we're having a half-decent day here as well, guys. Tesla was a really good one. TSLA here, that was a beautiful looking trade here. I think picture perfect at some point. But I wanted this ad, and then it would have been slightly even more pretty. And then we got IBIT. We cooked up an IBIT as well, too, during the opening drive. This is where I have the most conviction, and then that's why you can see me just add heavy, right? This is where I'm the most comfortable, and I just want to kind of exploit what I'm really, really good at and just continue to ride with that. And that's here with these opening drives. You can see we're only about 9 minutes out of the open here, and then we continue to climb, and then boom, 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 boom. But see here, I full disclosure, I did take off. So I had about 50% of the position here, and then here, what I was doing here, I took off another 50% of that 50%, and then I left let the rest ride there for the break of 48. But yeah, still a really good look there on that trade. So yeah, we'll go back to what's working for us. Bitcoin is strong, guys, but the market does seem to want to pull in. Talking to Jose about 480 on the Qs, and we rejected that. I'm kind of kicking myself that I didn't get into it. I posted up on the TQs, but it just didn't fill me. Right when I told you I was looking for that resistance to hold up right along these ends, these next to the woods. So I was at like 6180 or 6140 I posted up at, and then it just went without me, and I didn't want to chase it all the way cracking down to the downside. And then you can see it had a really nice recovery here. Or no, it was over here, yeah, so sorry, 6180, and then that's where I was looking to take the continuation to the downside, and you can see the momentum really start to pick up here in the market. So yeah, those options levels coming into play. I told you guys about it earlier here. I'll even show you what I was referring to. Yeah, this is what I said. This is what I said to my guy yesterday. Here. See, this was last night here. Same thing, nothing crazy. We look for 480, 470 be respected, but again, no large levels of OI. So that was the kind of the thesis, and you can see that we traded into 479.59, and then we rejected that. So yeah, we're stopped out of the playmaker right now, but that's okay.
What?
There, BVB.
We got stopped out?
Yeah, we got stopped out. You can see the market's really starting to pull back in here, Sharif. So yeah, we'll wait for some bottoming signals. Again, people may be just starting to panic because we got FOMC. I don't know what the surprise is necessarily going to be. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a pause, so nothing to get too worried about. I had a feeling that this was going to happen, but maybe we sell and then we rally into the print, and then at 2:30, Jerome Powell is going to obviously talk a little bit and then answer some questions near the latter half of that meeting. So yeah, we'll be patient, wait for that volatility to phase out here.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, for sure.
Because, well, we saw with GDP revisions, I think it was a few weeks ago, correct me if I'm wrong, we saw GDP revised down.
Okay,
we had like a 2.5 print or something like that.
Was it 2.5?
Now we're talking 1 change.
Oh, okay. So yeah, when you get to that 1 and changes, that's when the economy is really starting to slow down.
Let's talk about why.
Yeah.
Why did they make those revisions? I don't know exactly what their reasoning was. I'm assuming it was tariff related and the uncertainty that tariffs bring. So that leads me to the real question. Does the Fed move ahead some cuts? I'm not saying they're going to cut this time around. I'm pretty sure it's already priced in. We know that there's not going to be likely 90 some odd percent. There's not going to be a cut. But Joseph, we were talking about kicking that can down the road, maybe even to the fall, late summer.
For a cut.
Do we get one earlier now that GDP revisions are down? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I think Jerome is going to just stick with his narrative. He's going to be data dependent. So even though it's revised a little bit lower, I think he's going to be a little bit more patient and then maybe wait for the next meeting. We obviously want to see what jobless claims are like, and then you're going to have the CPI, PPI, right? So you want to wait for those prints to come out. Not necessarily right now, even though it is revised. I think he's going to be a little bit more patient. If you start to see the labor market really start to cool off, then maybe I think him and the Fed will start to consider.
And you touched on something there that we rarely talk about, but I think is super important. Job revisions, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, for 4 years, we had revisions down. The jobs number would come juiced up. Then next month or the month after that, they get revised down. I wonder why.
Exactly.
In any event, we're not going to go down that road. But the point is, revisions for these jobs numbers could be kind of like the wild card
exactly,
with GDP.
exactly,
So
yeah.
fantastic point for bringing that up.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about what the Fed has to do now that we've kind of gotten that uncertainty about the economy? Now we're hearing all sorts of, American exceptionalism is over. It's time for China to run. I don't believe that. But you're hearing a lot of people trying to say that there's going to be cracks in the economy. You think the Fed moves up? You think the Fed kind of gets involved? Donald's been putting pressure on Jerome since before he took office. Rates are too high. Get the rates down, right? I mean, does he cede? Obviously, he doesn't want to cede openly and make it look like he's not independent. But how does that happen? Let me know what you guys think, man. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say about that. Let's see what the chat is chiming in about here. Cameron, I'm still lost on the rate cuts. If it stays the same, is that good for the market? If they change it, will it make the market tank? I think it really is trying to strike that balance between keeping inflation near that 2% target. They're fixated on that 2% target. 2.5 is not good enough for them. 2.4 is not good. They want that 2. And then also making sure the rates aren't high enough that it's stifling economic growth, because that's obviously what we're looking for here, real GDP growth. So I think it is a balancing act between those two things. And striking that balance is insanely hard, as we've seen throughout the years with Volcker, what's that guy, Green something, or a Greenspan, Jerome, who else we got? Ben Bernanke. I mean, there are all these Fed chairs for years and years and years had a hard time striking that balance. I don't think it's going to get any easier, baby. So Vinci sell-off today. Yeah, it feels like that, my man. It's the market's coming down now. We already got stopped out of the Playmaker poll, so that's a look there. Abhishek, can you ask Joe to explain strangles and which stocks suit best for strangles? I think you did an entire thing on that, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, yeah.
Yeah, all right, see what people have to say. I'll let you set up for that. Yeah. I feel good. The market looks like crap, though, says Rubicon. I had to adjust your wording because you got held by Streamlabs there, but I get it. Green Guru, I love it because I get buy opportunities. Say more, my man. That's what volatility is, and that's what we love as intraday traders. We need volatility. No volatility, you can't make any money. Peter King, it's about for what reason they changed the rate. Well said, Peter. Absolutely. Why are they changing the rate? Do we have weakness in the economy? Is inflation coming down a lot faster than we expected? Absolutely right. It's really about kind of trying to strike the balance at the right time. Chris Nieves, I hope I didn't butcher your last name. Where do you guys think Tesla will stop today by end of day? Yeah, that's like asking where's Waldo, bro. It's kind of a hard, get it, Adara. It's kind of a hard, it's a hard ask there, man. Tesla is one of the most volatile names, if not the most volatile name in Mag 7 world. So yeah, I wouldn't feel comfortable giving predictions on that.
No, I don't. No. Well, I'm out of the stock, so I think that should say enough. No.
Fair. Yeah, right. Well said.
So I don't know.
Pug Life, 77. Sharif, they really want the 10-year note to get down because that is what small business and mortgage rates are derived from. My man, we are on the same page. I have this bias that basically the Trump administration, at least in the short term, will be more fixated on getting bond yields down, and by extension of that, bond prices up so that they can reduce the debt payments. Elon Musk tweeted something today. Actually, he said it yesterday on Hannity. He said, and maybe you have to fact check this because it's coming out of his mouth. Maybe he's right, maybe he's wrong. He said the interest payments on the U.S. debt exceeds military spending. That's insane. That is true, said Neil.
Yeah, that is insane.
So, I mean, if that's not a real reason to get this problem under control, I mean, like, it's insane to me that they're paying more on their servicing their debt than they're actually spending on their military, and it's by far the biggest military in the world. So, I have trouble with that number. Now, whether that's accurate or not, let's find out. Where's chat at? Show yourself, chat. Here we go. Let's bring in Chat GPT.
Chat good.
Chat good. Here we go. We're going to do it live. Does the USA spend more on servicing its national debt than it does on military spending on a per year basis. Tell me, chat, searching the web. Yes, in recent years, the United States has reached a point where annual spending on servicing the national debt surpasses its defense expenditures. In fiscal year 2024, the federal government allocated $870 billion to interest payments on the national debt, exceeding the $822 billion it spent on defense. And then it cites its sources. It looks like it's citing Barron's, Financial Times, and the AP News, in case anybody was wondering what the sources were. So that's kind of ugly.
Yeah, it is.
That's real ugly there,
ugly.
and I don't know how I feel about that, Joseph.
Yeah.
What do you got?
Yeah, I'm in some TQs, guys. I'm not loving it for the bounce. We keep rejecting the volume-weighted average price. I tried to get out at 61.10, never caught a fill. I do think that we break lower and crack through this. I'm just playing this VPA signal right now. I'm not overly thrilled about this trade. Again, I mentioned that we're continuing to move to the downside with Apple looking like it wants to crack lows, Meta continuing to yeah, exactly. So there we go. This isn't going to be a good trade, and I just have that gut feeling. So yeah, let's see if we can get out of this somewhat break even, and we'll be a little bit patient, or we can continue to climb lower. I don't know how much lower Meta can go here. Well, how low can you go? You get real low. Yeah, I mean, it's really low here, guys. So we'll be patient to see if it can get somewhat of a rebound. And I think if it does start to recover, it'll help drag the market up with it. We are starting to run into 2 o'clock, so be wary of the volatility and make sure you guys have those stops in place. Ask how much Tesla paid in federal taxes. Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. I'm pretty sure Elon's saying that he's paid more money in taxes than anybody on the planet. So yeah, there you go. To answer that one. Oh, but you want us to ask
apparently
ChatGPT.
$2.3 billion in income, but paid 0 federal income taxes. This is over the past 3 years, 2022 to 2024, the company accumulated $10.8 billion in U.S. income while contributing only $48 million in federal taxes, resulting in an average tax rate of 0.4%, significantly below the statutory corporate tax rate of 21%. That's what it's saying here. We'll have to ask why. What they were able to tell, here it is. Tesla achieved this minimal tax liability through various legal tax strategies, including accelerated depreciation. This method allowed Tesla to deduct $500 million, reducing taxable income. Executive stock option deductions. These deductions provided $250 million in tax savings, and then unspecified U.S. tax credit. They benefited about $300 million in that. What's the question is, how much did they pay in state taxes? And then they're in obviously many states. Federal income tax regarding the state taxes, they pay about $9 million in 2024. This amount is relatively modest compared to the company's earnings. That's insane.
$9 million?
That's insane. These are like, if the sources are accurate, that's kind of crazy there. I'm sure Tesla shareholders are happy about that because that ends up going in their pocket. But you got to ask the bigger question here about contributing to the overall country, right?
Yeah, never mind H&R Block. I need Tesla's tax guy.
Oh man.
So yeah, here we go in some Qs. I'm just gonna stick to the thesis, guys. If it breaks this low, then I'm just gonna get out of the trade. Looking forward to getting, my entry was slightly late and it's looking like it wants to take another leg down. So if we just look at it from a 5-minute standpoint, it may not be good. This is just a breath here in the underlying asset. And then you can see that we kind of get this ABCD type pattern, and it looks like we're gonna crack this. As you can see, the selling pressure really starting to pick up as Apple and Meta continue to take another leg lower here, guys. So yeah, tough look here. Yeah, that's it. We're going to hold off. If it holds the lows, then it holds the lows. If it doesn't, then we're just going to get out of the trade, and that's unfortunate. So, yeah, we'll be a little bit more patient. Looks like a potential double bottom here. So, rejecting view up. I tried to get out here, and then it just didn't fail me or anything along those lines. So, yeah, we'll sit on this until it cracks that low. Yeah, half an hour until JP. So that volatility is most definitely going to step in once that data print comes out here, guys. Let's see what I wanted to do here. What do you got going on?
Yeah, I just want to let everybody know that the big kahunas are coming on a little bit early today. We're going live at 1:45 on that side of the desk over there. Neil and Sean coming back early for Jerome Powell. The rate decision expected at 2 o'clock. Widely anticipated that it will be a hold. And then Adara and I will be at the big boy desk covering the entire development there as Jerome Powell starts taking questions. And if you haven't been to an FOMC, if you haven't attended an FOMC meeting today, Katina Man, or previously, that's where the wild card comes in. So the speech that he reads at the podium is released at 2 o'clock, so you already know what he's going to say when he starts reading it at 2:30. But the wild cards come in vis-a-vis this question period that he takes from reporters, which is live. They do it live, right? And so that is kind of what we look for there for these curveballs for the market coming in during question period. So we're going to be covering all that for you guys live, no question about it. Nathan, don't sell yourself short. You two are also big kahunas. We're not big kahunas, but we like ourselves. Don't get it wrong. Adira and I are we like who we are. But those are the big kahunas. They've been here since the start, so we're gonna pay them the respect that they
we'll give them a little respect there. I think they're.
What do you got over there, Joe?
Yeah, we're still sitting in this trade, man. Sticking with the thesis, my guy. If we crack that low, then I'm gonna get out. But hopefully we can get a bounce and then maybe climb a little bit above the volume weighted average price, and then that way we can start piecing some out. But it's not looking too good, as you can see on the 1 minute time frame. We are starting to construct lower highs and a definitive downtrend. So we're going to have to punch through this here in order for this level to hold, but it doesn't seem to want to do so because you can see the strength within the engulfing. So yeah, if we crack that, then that's when I believe we can come tap into the volume weighted average price. Another $2 Canadian Toonie, as we like to call here.
Toonie Tuesday.
Toonie Tuesday, yeah. I never was a big KFC chicken guy. I did like the sandwich, but...
Not even in high school?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Hold on, were you a healthy eater in high school?
Relatively, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, always, man. Throughout.
Like you made it like your...
I always like barbecuing. Like I always made chicken. When I was working throughout high school, I always brought my lunch and everything.
Seriously,
yeah, for sure. My grandpa always used to make my lunch as well too. So I was just always been that guy that liked in. So I never.
I used to hate Mediterranean food growing up because my mom would always, that was our lunch. I hated it. But when I grew up, I understood Mediterranean food slaps. Why? You got the fiber component vis-a-vis salad and or what's it called? Greens. You got the carbohydrate component, either potatoes or rice. And you got the meat component. That's what Mediterranean food is.
Yeah, that's good. That's what. Aren't they? I forget that Netflix series where it's just like the people that live the longest. I'm pretty sure the Mediterranean was a part of that. Yeah. So there's some people that live the longest. But yeah, I feel so. Sorry. Back to this $2 super chat here, guys. I feel a chance for a hike given inflation. NBRS. I'm not too sure what that stands for.
Respect that. All right. I don't agree.
Yeah. I don't think so either. We've already priced in that there's going to be no hike there, guys. So
Neil says he'll take that bet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
but you got to give him good odds.
Yeah. So Sean's still in the TQs. Yeah, I believe Sean. Katina, man, you still in the TQs there, brother? $60.90. You're long at 60.90. Okay, yeah, so he's long right here. Yeah, I'm roughly around there, 61.04. But it's not looking too good. We might crack the low of this candle, and then I'll just get out of the trade because that's what it. See, there you go, and then you get that momentum to the downside. So yeah, gonna hop out of this trade because it is continuing to sell.
All right, we took the beak wet there on XHLD, so I did add into this on a couple of times, so I'm kind of happy about that because that's one thing I've certainly struggled with, adding into winning positions. This one did come in into the 10 exponential. We got the fill, wet the beak at the flat top at 25. I'm still waiting for that lofty 142 print. That obviously is about 10 pennies above the current high a day. But I mean, how many times do we need to see this story? Ascending wedge on a name that's up 120%. What are the shorts thinking here, right? And that's kind of what I ask myself about these kind of patterns because, I wanted to mention, by the way, that I learned a little bit about how these small cap gappers trade, especially the ones that are heavily shorted. Did you guys know that market makers who sit on both the bid and the ask, right, and who technically will sit on both sides on a small cap gapper will actually pull their buy orders and sell orders on a spiking stock, which adds to the parabolic nature? I had no idea that happened. That is apparently a routine thing for these small cap gappers and the heavily shorted names that are spiking up or down, spiking up. Yeah, there you go. The more you know. I had no idea about that. I knew that there were certain algos that wouldn't trade it below or above a certain price, but I had no idea that market makers were actually pulling their from either side of the bid to kind of avoid holding the bag, so to speak, on these names, even though that is their job. So that was enlightening to me, to say the least. Here we go. We're close to that high day. There's a huge seller at 30. It's a hidden seller. We've weaseled up multiple times into 30. The best we've done on the day was this 132. But that's it. And we spent like all of like a fraction of a second there. The 99% of the prints that have come up have rejected off 130. So we just saw 130 again. I was able to have a look at the book. There was big sellers there, a lot of lots, but you could tell that it was really not the lots that were posted there. It was more like the hidden orders because nothing was coming off the ask side. Here we go again. We're at 130. We're showing 31s now on the ask, and then that's as good as we could do coming back down again. So keeping my eye on this one. I know we're going to go to Adair in a second. Just let me know when. Anton, oh, you would not believe what's going on behind the scenes. I would, because I'm kind of programmed to expect the unexpected. Huh? Yeah, we know. Yeah, because yeah, exactly. Wait, say that again, Kalua. Say that again, please. I missed it. Well, basically, when a stock is squeezing, we'll talk about it when we get back. Adara's got some for us right now.
Head of the Fed, I'm really excited here to show this brand new TTV research infographic. I have been making this. I'm really happy this was able to come out in time. So we're always talking about these Fed speakers, different members of the Fed. Who are they all? This infographic contains every single member of the Fed, and by that I mean the governors and the people who are presidents of local banks. So just to explain the hierarchy here, in the middle here is Fed Chair Jerome Powell. On the sides of him, on both sides, so these 6 individuals, Jefferson, Barr, Waller, Bowman, Cook, and Kugler, they are going to be governors of the board, though Philip Jefferson is actually vice chair, and Michelle Bowman has been nominated for the vice chair of supervision position. Then these individuals below, these names you might recognize some, including Bostic, Kashkari, and Hammock. These guys below here, the smaller guys, are the presidents of Fed Reserve banks. So you can take a look at all of these individuals and find out what their position is within the Fed on X at TTV Research. Really happy this graphic could come out ahead of the meeting, because again, we will get that decision with Sharif and myself in 25 minutes. Back to you.
That's a fantastic look, Adair, man. That's really, really good, informative, super easy to digest there. Thank you for that, Adair. Joseph and I were all we're very much having a look there and commenting about all the different Feds, and we're not going to repeat any of the comments. Murguy, Sharif, if you check the heat map of BTC and make screenshots, you can see that they pull off their hedge positions right before big liquidations take place by squeezing in one direction. Very interesting, my friend. That is not something that I was able to kind of digest or discern on my own, nor did I know it until a few days ago. Thank you for pointing that out. That will be definitely some of my homework tonight. I will have a look at that. Rishi Inv. Sharif, yo, man. Been a while. Always love your show together with Luca, not Luke. Just a quick question. Do you still remember the website where the share floating? Okay, so you're talking about floatchecker.com. Sadly, I'm pretty sure it's no longer in service. Let's find out. Float checker. Here it is. Yeah, it's not even on the. It's not even on what's it called? Google anymore. Okay, I don't want to click this without knowing what it is, so I'm just gonna have a look quickly. Okay, here it is. We'll find out if this works or not. Inspect link. What link, bro? Yeah, it's not working anymore, my man. Floatchecker.com was the website, but yeah, you can see kind of it's just pending there. It's not going. So, yeah, brother. What I do is I use Trade Ideas. Also, I have my own platform over here that shows me the float. IBKR shows the float. Trade Ideas. eSignal, and we're sponsored by eSignal as well. So make sure you're checking out that kind of stuff. If you have a brokerage that provides that, make sure to check it out. Go ahead, Joseph.
Yeah, are we doing the East? Are we doing it? All right, well, you gotta give me more than 4.
I can do it.
Yeah,
I got it right here.
You got it right. I got it here too as well. All right.
Go ahead. I did have it.
Okay, I got it here. I got it. Go ahead.
All right. Here we go. New traders.
You got it.
Listen up. First month, it's free. That's right. We're waiving the fees. You can trade smarter, not harder, by upgrading to that elite where you'll be able to analyze, strategize, and then hopefully you'll be able to capitalize. Their platform, it's got everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, and game-changing charts. You can predict better with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Do not miss out. Execute your best trades now. ready to elevate your trading, scan that QR code or check the link in the description. Let me bring in e-signal over here. Like, for example, let's just weasel on over to one of these. Yeah, this is my watch list over here. You can have your hot list over here, like most volatile names in the market, new yearly highs. I love this kind of stuff. Like what just made yearly highs on the day, what made yearly lows, the percentage gainers on the day. That's kind of my jam right there. That's what I filter my scanner with: percentage gainers, percentage losers, quarterly percentage gainers, the amount of trades, unfilled gaps, unusual volume. It like has all these pre-programmed scanners that you can use to find different tickers to trade. It's an awesome platform. I'm learning more about it every day. And then you can also tell that it's got the detailed quotes over here where it does have share floats as well. So if you are looking for a platform that does show you the float as well as a short float, check out eSignal, and you can scan that QR code right below my head there on the screen and get yourself a nice discount. So
nice.
check that out.
Yeah, here we go, man.
Hold on,
All
we had a super chat there, man.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we got to cover that.
Cover that one there.
All right, $4.99 super chat from Wellroyd DeMello. Will growing wealth disparity from billionaires avoiding taxes with stock options eventually drive people to pull out of the stock market? I don't know how you conflate the two, though. The fact that people aren't paying taxes because they're making money in the market would drive people out of the market. I don't know. I kind of disagree. I think that more people are starting to recognize that they can't get into real estate, especially the younger generation, because it's prohibitively expensive. Yeah, Fabian's snapping his fingers. He knows what I'm talking about. And as a result, what the hell are you going to put your money into? I mean, I don't know. So to me, the barrier to entry in the stock market is far less than the barrier to entry into real estate and other areas of investment, private, equity, etc. So I don't think we necessarily see a cooling down. In addition to that, there's also that kind of tailwind of gamifying the market, the gamification. You can kind of bet on DraftKings, the way that you can buy stocks on your phone now. So I don't know, brother. That's a great point, and I think that billionaires definitely need to pay their fair share, but I don't know if we see that as kind of a headwind for the market. That's just my opinion. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way, to be honest with you, Sharif. And I like your gamify point because that's what I was about to say. You're starting to see some more of these companies, like you can see amongst the youth with like the metaverse, et cetera, and all these names climb in. But that's just because the kids are used to it, right? So you got Discord, you got Reddit, everybody knows about these and they use the platform. Now you can essentially have whatever you want here on your cellular device, and I think that's the gamification point part of it. You got the meme coins and everything along those lines, and keep in mind it's all relative. Just because they're billionaires now, and I know there wasn't as many X amount of years ago, but think about it from a relative standpoint. When you have people making hundreds, tens of millions of dollars, it's still relative to the era. I don't think it drives anybody away. The stock market's only getting more popular, and it revolves on the it lives and it thrives on the revolving door of the stock market. So just keep that in mind, guys. Here, this is what I want to talk to. Get out of here, JP. We're not too worried about this, guys. Okay, so this is my style of trading, and this is how I operate. All right, I'm going to go over some things here very shortly. Okay, so we'll take some more off there. We posted up. Okay, so you can see that I was long here. My entry was slightly late, but then I got out of the trade as we broke down. I did get a bad fill. That's okay to the downside. But now, once I seen some more candles displaying themselves on the 5-minute, beautiful hammer candle there, Gorev, on the 5-minute, on the Qs and on the SPY as well too. But what I did essentially was I got out of the trade and then I got right back in. So picture that I was still sitting in this position here, and now I'm holding it through this pullback and then all the way up here. I'm only, 15 cents in the money, opposed to me just realizing the small loss. Now I'm in at 60.85 and now about to be 50 cents in the money. So almost 4 times the amount if I were to be holding onto this position. Now I'm risking only the low day as the Qs start to squeeze. So I think just the risk to reward, cutting trades when you're supposed to. And I was supposed to get out at 60.90, but that momentum to the downside was quite fast. And then it gave me about a 9-cent slippage, which is unfortunate because I did punch out of dodge. But here you go. That's just me getting out of trades and getting back into it. I talk about it all the time, guys. Guys, I get in, and I get out. Should I have made this position significantly larger? Absolutely yes. Am I kicking myself about that? Absolutely yes. But what worked out here, guys, is that style of trading. Getting in, trade not working, getting out, the signal's still displaying itself. You get right back, increasing that risk to reward. What are you up to? A.
Keep an eye here on DJTs. You could see DJT got a little bit of a spike here. Eleanor Terrett, who is a reporter who works for Crypto America, journalist and crypto, I guess, enthusiast here, reporting on X that she's been told that there's going to be a big announcement regarding Trump's plans for the next steps in his crypto policy coming immediately. So this is coming from a journalist who works for Crypto America by the name of Eleanor Terrett, reporting that she's being told, unclear as to what her sources are, that there will be an announcement soon with regards to Trump's next steps for crypto. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adira. Appreciate that as always. All right, guys, in this XHLD trade that I'm currently involved in, we just weaseled up into a new high of day at 135. But I'm very lofty in my expectations because I've seen this story before where we wake up and get printed at a high where it doesn't spend a whole lot of time at. So I'm waiting at 142. This is still, believe it or not, XHLD, respecting the 10 exponential on the 5, and it has literally the entire day. Not the entire day, but since I've been involved with it. I mean, you get your, perfunctory breaches every now and again, but it ends up rocketing up. So I don't think I want to add any more here because we're going to be off in 2 minutes, and we're sending it to the big kahunas at 145. But this is interesting. It's 143.
It's 143.
So 135 right now is the high of the day on this bad boy. So I'm still waiting at 142. Let's see if we can get a 142 print on XHLD. I'm going to move up my stop essentially into my entry once I get up off the desk, and I'm going to leave that 142 area for a possible print. I mean, whatever. We'll see what we get, and we won't get upset. XHLD, it's up 112%. Put some dang respect on this one's name.
All right.
Joseph's like, all right. Elon, Sharif. Let's bring it in the middle here because I hate the sidekick. Sharif, sadly, ChatGPT info isn't always accurate. As per Tesla 10K, it paid over $1 billion in cash income taxes annually in the last 3 years. Thank you for that, Elon. Look, brother, I'm not taking each side either way. I got to do my own research, which involves more than a few seconds search on ChatGPT. I'm pretty sure everybody understands that. But we are doing a live show. So we always leave it to you guys to do your own homework. We kind of just give you the ideas there. But thank you for pointing that out. That's apparently in their 10K. Tesla's 10K paid over $1 billion of cash income taxes annually in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Whatever the situation is, it is.
It is what it is.
It's not like we collect any of that.
No, yeah, well, that'd be nice, man. I remember the CRA said that it wasn't worth going through the COVID stimulus, that the money wasn't worth it. Giving away billions of dollars isn't worth it to go see who was lying and who wasn't. As embarrassing. Let me do it. I will gladly do it for a fraction of a percent.
Dude, and I don't mean to make light of this, but did you hear about them basically saying we might have pandemic era stimulus for the tariffs?
Yeah, that's insane.
So to basically prop up the companies that are going to get shellacked by the tariffs.
Yeah.
Pandemic era stimulus.
Yeah, I mean, hey, man.
That's a lot of money, Joseph.
Yeah, I would fire everybody in the CRA if I had the ability to.
All right, now it technically is 145. Are we sending it to Neil or Adira?
Okay. Can I just show this here real quick? We're gonna send it to Adira. Do you want to go get ready at the desk there, or you're okay? So yeah, guys, this is the trade here. We're gonna send it off to Sharif. I only have about 10% left. It's gonna go to Sharif and Adira here momentarily as we start to approach that that FOMC meeting here, guys. IBIT coming all the way back to close to the opening price. That sucks, but that's okay. We'll wait on this one. But again, I just talk about getting in trades and then getting out and then getting right back in. So yeah, we're gonna send it over to those guys shortly. I'm gonna punch out of this here, guys, now because at my break even, I only have 10% left, so I'm not gonna hold it through anything. Getting near the end of the show, but we'll go over our trades here real quick. Ramin, let me know when we're ready to go over to them, please and thank you. I can't hear you. You can speak in my. Okay. All right. So yeah, guys, here we are on IBIT. This was our beautiful IBIT trade here in the morning, and then we'll go over TSLL. They're almost ready here momentarily. So that is IBIT. We'll go over TSLL. Gonna wait for Katina Man here briefly. This was our other trade as well, too, guys. So a nice trade here on TSLL all the way through, and then close it off with the TQs. Let's send it over to Sharif and A.
We are going to have here in just about 12 minutes now, we're going to be getting the FOMC rate decision. So if you take a look at my screen here, we are expecting there will be no change. Previous number 4.5%, consensus and forecast here at 4.5%. Also, we're noting here we're going to be getting some interest rate projections here for the 1 year, 2 years out, the current interest rate projection, and the longer term interest rate projection.